Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Sesternino back here one more time here in the month of January 2021 to talk about the final chapter of our Kid Nation rewatch. We're ready to gather up one last time here and close out month one of the RHAP Rewind. And here we are back with my co-host for this project, a man who is a Kid Nation expert. Please welcome back the great Phil Thompson. Give him a gold star. This is heavy.
Listen, Rob, if you just gave me just like, maybe just, a slight amount of $20,000, I will be able to give you a teleportation device. I've been working on the technology for quite some time. They look it up. They've been working on it, so I'll be able to get it for you guys, and it'd be amazing.
This show was filmed in 2007, so by now that this whole thing is probably all set up and ready to go.
Oh, yeah. No, Jared has it made. Me and Jared, we're working out the blueprints right now. But yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this. Has been so much fun. And the fact that we're finishing this off and having a lot of fun doing it, or going to have a lot of fun doing it, I'm pumped up.
Yes. And we are finishing it out in amazing fashion because we're joined by the great Chappelle.
Hi there. I feel like I showed up at the right time. You just come for the last episode and you get the big gold star, like the $50,000 one. So all the rest of these guests, Mike Bloom, Akiva, love them to death. $20,000 for you, $50,000 for Chappelle. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, you get the giant 10-pound gold star. You did it. You're here.
I'm Migle. That's me.
Migle?
Chappelle.
All right. So we'll talk about all of that here. The episodes 11, 12, 13 of Kid Nation. For people who either want to bookmark this or share it with a friend, we have started a RHAP Rewind original podcast feed. Go to robinswebsite.com/RHAP Rewind. You can hear all 5 episodes of Kid Nation and subscribe and hear everything that we are going to be doing next. Those podcasts will be in order as opposed to hearing the latest one dropping. So we'll start with one and continue on all through the RHAP Rewind. But next month, in case people had not been new, I can tell you what's coming up next. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Starting next week, we'll be taking a look at Pirate Master, the CBS 2008 series, the summer after Kid Nation. They launched Pirate Master. Josh Wigler and I will be setting sail to watch all of the one and only season of Pirate Master. Aaron Robertson is going to join us to talk about episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Pirate Master next week on RHAP. But a lot to do here today, talking about the finale, the home stretch of Kid Nation. Chappelle, you've been listening. You seem like you're an avid Kid Nation watcher. Can you give us your backstory with the show?
I don't want to lie to you. I wouldn't say avid. I'm no Phil. I remember when the show came out thinking, oh, that's good for kids to watch, right? And I kind of eyeballed it a little bit, saw a couple episodes, and then I went to college. So for me, it wasn't something that I was just tuned into, but I did, being a reality TV junkie, I did, pay attention to it a little bit. And I liked what I saw in this rewatch. I have liked a lot. I think it has aged amazingly, honestly. I mean, because they're kids, we don't have to be as critical as them, and we do some of these other reality TV people. Like they can kind of get away with some of the problematic things that they say. So this has been fun, but I do have to warn you, I notoriously do not like children. So I might have some hot takes for you today, or I might say something upsetting about one of these little tykes. Yeah. We'll see.
Phil, I think today I came to a conclusion that if Kid Nation existed today, I would have no problem sending my children there.
Yeah,
it's been too long, 9 months, 10 months in this lockdown that my wife is just totally stressed out. I'm ready for 40 days off. I'm ready to send my kids to Kid Nation. Yes, it's dangerous, but 40 days.
No, look at them. Yeah, by the end of it, you see that how much these kids have actually grown, and your kids, Rob, would grow. They'd grow exponentially, it'd be fascinating. That's amazing. I'm so glad.
And Rob, your kids will come back with $70,000.
Yeah.
Let's be very
and they
clear.
could come back with some money.
Yeah. Wait, okay. If you had to guess which one of your children, you don't have to do this out loud if you don't want to, but
Who would
Dominic
get
Anthony,
the star?
who's getting the star and why?
Yeah.
I think Dominic has the better chance to get the gold star just because I feel like that he would be better at trying to game the system than Anthony is.
He's like,
yeah.
What's her name? Divide? Like, just like, hey, my turn.
I think he'd
it's my
be
turn.
more prone to be able to scam the system of figuring out like what he needs to do to get the gold star.
Yeah, what you got to do, you got to get Dominic to get the gold star first, and then get him to become a town council leader, and then give Anthony the gold star. I think that's, the proper way if you wanted to really pregame your kids before the season. That'd be the way for them to
move. Okay. Well, let's talk about the home stretch here of Kid Nation, episode number 11, and we start out with some real iconic stuff. We're going to start with some a battle over chickens, and we see all of a sudden, Phil, this seemed out of nowhere to me, that all of a sudden Taylor was a big chicken stan, where I feel like that early on in the season, I feel like that she was leading the charge to kill chickens.
Yeah, well, that's the amazing, evolution of Taylor. And now we're kind of seeing the final chapter of the growth arc. Yeah, where now, before chickens were just food, but now, over the course of the 40 days, chickens are more than that. They're friends, and they're actually beautiful. There's beautiful chickens and there's ugly chickens, Rob. And so that's kind of what she kind of had to learn to, distinguish. And she realized, the pretty ones I want to keep. I want to keep the pretty ones.
Chappelle, we get this guy, Greg, deciding, he makes a decision. He's in power. 10 chickens have to get killed today. We're coming in. We're killing 10 chickens. Seemed like an arbitrary number for one day. That's a lot of chickens for one day. And they're going to come in and do it. And Taylor is not happy.
No. Like Phil said, Taylor has realized the value of an ugly chicken versus the value of a pretty chicken. And ugly people can put on makeup, but ugly chickens can't. And so Taylor had to make sure that she was there to defend at least the chickens that she thought was worthy of living. Greg chose that number. We don't know why they wait 39 days into this whole endeavor to decide to eat all the chickens. But whatever, it's fine. I support Taylor. She said she was sharing her feelings. Okay. She stood up for listen, I'm a Taylor defender. Okay. She stood up for what she believed in. I can't be mad at that.
Yeah.
You're a Taylor defender the whole time. Just no matter what Taylor says, it's always, Taylor made the right decision.
I wouldn't say all that. What I'm saying is, it's something about, being that young and being that sure of yourself that I can admire. She's dead ass wrong a lot of times. but for her to she's 9 years old and she's standing up to this 16-year-old kid who has no business being there, quite frankly. But she's standing up to this grown man, like I'm sharing my feelings. Don't eat the chicken. Like the rest of these kids are pushovers. They would just let him do what he wants.
Yeah.
Justice for Taylor. Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, the way they turn her around is that they tell her, okay, well, you can pick which chickens we're going to kill. So we're still going to eat 10 chickens, but you can pick them. And that's okay.
Every chicken deserves to die.
See, not everything's so great.
It was a real Sophie's Choice decision. Really, it was really hard for her to mull it over which chicken to kill. No, it was just the ugly ones.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
And, she has this whole posse that is cheering what she's saying. No matter what she says, she has some hype women around her that just cheer.
Hey, Kelsey's ride or die. Kelsey has been there since day one. If you cross one of Kelsey's friends, she's right there in your face. Okay. Remember, what was it? Jared flipped Devon's table over. Kelsey was right there. How dare you? How dare you? You would never. Kelsey, that's a real one. You need friends like her.
Yeah, no, get you a friend like Kelsey for sure. I think that's kind of Taylor kind of has this aura of hers. She's kind of like a cult leader in some sense. She pulls in Taylor, she pulls in Kelsey, and she's she kind of has this lull over them. And now they're just kind of these Taylor worshipers. It's amazing to behold.
Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody's following her. So we are going to get the theme of this episode is about the education. That's what we're sort of starting to set up. We see a little bit more about the bond between Alex and Jared, and Anjay is there also. They are discussing some extraterrestrial activity. Phil, did you know that alien life has been found in our solar system?
No, I did not. And I had no idea that even Jared knew that. See, Jared actually really surprised me here, at least when I first watched, is that, because I always saw Jared as, the Shakespearean actor. He reads a lot of Shakespeare. He knows a lot about art. But no, he just is a fan of science. He's spouting out science facts like, I don't know, like some...
Is it? So I feel like it's a lot of science fake news from Jared. Did anybody vet Jared Chappelle?
Jared knows a lot of stuff. We'll see him flex his intellectual muscles later on when he starts talking about the Homestead Act in the middle of nowhere. So we have to believe that he knows something. But yeah, listen, he's a lot smarter than me. So if he says it, who are me to decide that he's not telling the truth? What am I going to do? Like in 2007, I couldn't even Google it. What am I going to do? Ask Jeeves? So we kind of have to just go with it. Like if this little kid said it, I'm fine. If Alex told me anything, I would believe it. So,
yeah. I had the same exact experience, Chappelle, watching this. It might just be my inferiority complex or something like that. But the whole time, every time Alex or Jared were saying facts, I was like, oh, yeah, that's definitely true. Like, how did I not know that? What's wrong with me?
Yeah. He set it up, true or false? He's like, it's actually true. The alien life has been on Mars. They found it. And so that is true. Like, okay. Who knew?
Yeah.
They don't have Wikipedia. They don't have Google. They can't look anything up.
Yeah.
Just sitting around like out nerding each other. What was Alex's thing? Like, oh, what's pi? Oh, do you know pi?
Oh, yeah. They did like 9 digits into pi.
Yeah. And I was like, Alex, that's not even a practical use of your knowledge, period. Like 3.14159. Like, who cares? Alex, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So, all right, the town leaders, they go to the journal, they get history books that they need to memorize, and they tell the rest of the town, all right, we have to study, and Taylor is not having it, Phil. She does not want to study.
I hate school and I hate reading. That's what she said. She is not down with the studying at all. The thing, Taylor is just like, she's bored, but she doesn't actually want anything to do to really fill that boredom. She's just going to kind of revel in that. And so instead of, she's not going to study because she's bored. I don't really see how that makes sense, but okay, go off, Taylor.
That's a whole vibe. I'm bored and I don't want to do anything. Rob, can you relate?
Yes, I definitely could.
Yeah. I don't blame her. Who's the background kid who yelled out randomly like, I came here to get away from school. God dang. That's my spirit animal. Was it Cody? I know Cody left. It was one of those background characters. You know, he's speaking my mind.
Yeah. Jared also tells us how it's very important to have an education. Otherwise, you could end up flipping burgers at the supermarket. And of course, yes, we all know that job. The supermarket burger flipper of you see one in every supermarket.
Yeah, I understood his sentiment, I guess, but I don't really know what he was. Has Jared ever been to the supermarket? That's also something I was thinking about because it seems like I don't know what you're talking about.
we should really start fact checking everything he says after this one.
Yeah, man.
Phil, you're ready to buy the alien life forms. This is the same guy that's telling us that there is a burger flipper at every supermarket.
Yeah, what supermarkets is he going to? I'd go to the supermarkets that are the dudes flipping burgers. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, wait until he finds out how many people have degrees who are sitting at the same supermarket right now. Like, hey, Jared, welcome to 2021.
All right, so everybody's going to be doing some studying to get ready for what's going to be in the showdown. Taylor is on probation, Phil. That she has been told that she's not getting the reward if she's not part of it, and she's not studying with her group. She goes to the chicken coop, and all of the leadership is going to be there. Greg and Blaine and Michael and DK, and they're there to read Taylor to filth for, what are you doing, Taylor?
Yeah, DK legit just asks her, like, Taylor, like, what is your end game here? Like, what's your goal? Like, what do you actually want to accomplish? And her answer is legit, I don't know, because that's kind of what all Taylor is. Taylor doesn't have any ideologies of her own, but once she gets something in her head, she's so stubborn, and she's just going to stick to that and be like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing.
You can't tell her what to do.
Yeah. And, even like Kelsey later on is like, I'm actually not going to do this anymore. I'm going to, be able to participate in the award and I don't really care about this. And Taylor is still just like, no, I'm sticking to what I said before and that's all there is. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So Taylor is on thin ice with the group. Let's get to the showdown. Chappelle, how do you feel about the showdowns on Kid Nation?
This is boring.
Yeah.
Okay? like maybe the first two I was kind of invested in, a little bit more physical. But when you get to like, okay, quickly name the presidents or like put the phonograph before, like I don't care. I don't care. I have 4 children. I don't care. And so, make them fight over something. Make them catch the sheep. I'm okay with that. But this, I'm good.
This was dumb. And not only did we not care, the show didn't care because they stopped showing the questions at one point. You got like 4 or 5 questions in, and then we just saw kids popping balloons. Phil, they just totally like threw away even telling us what questions they were trying to answer.
And thank God for that, because, I honestly did not really care about what was really going on. It's always just about who wins. I don't know. The thing with this challenge also that was weird is that they put so much on like, you have to study before this. You have to study. And then by the time they got there, it was just like, oh, you just have to pop balloons. It became more of a competition about, the skill of popping balloons and, being able to save as many bullets as you can versus actually, the studying part. Of course, it would have been boring to watch them like all take a pop quiz or something like that. But come on, I don't know.
It was always, every single question was like one real answer, like another like a possible answer, and then one like stupid joke answer also. It was a 50-50.
They had like one of the answers was the question asked like what nation began to colonize Bonanza City area in the early 1800s, and the 3 responses were Mexican, Spanish, or the Ewoks.
Chappelle doesn't know Ewoks.
Yeah, have these kids not seen Star Wars? Is that what they were assuming? I have no idea. Yeah,
I can promise you, over half of those kids have seen Star Wars for sure. This is the right demographic for some Star Wars watching. They know Ewok.
They were giving it to them.
Yeah, the town ends up getting the reward, and this was a interesting choice because this was the first time that the kids went for the instant gratification choice of a library or an arcade. Chappelle, with 8 days left, was this really a fair fight between the library and the arcade?
No, and like Taylor said, the library looked corny. And when she said, I was like, yes, queen. Like, excuse me, it's 8 days left. Y'all have been doing manual labor and stuff like that. And there's already books in the town. Trust me, Alex found them a long time ago. If there's a book, he's read it. And so you don't need to go get a library. Get these kids some games. Let them live. Let them be children. I have a theory. All of these tasks up until probably this one have just been them practicing for doing like manual labor, like under the government's control. Like they were they have like PVC pipe challenge and like mining and an oil rig challenge. Like this is very specific. These kids are going to have their CDL by the end of this whole, to do. So I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. Do you think that the production company was contracted to do these jobs and they just used the kids for labor for these things they needed to get done?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Halliburton's behind this 100%.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna need this piping later. Actually, save it. We'll hold on to. We got to use this later for another challenge or something like that." I don't know.
Yeah. Taylor tells us she's like, "I hope they pick the library because I'm not allowed to use the reward, and that looks very boring. And so I hope they pick that one because I will be very upset if they pick the arcade and I can't do it."
Yeah, like for the first time, like they made the choice of, like the fun choice. Most of the time they're picking the practical social choices. But, I think this was kind of just a little bit of an FU to Taylor to just be like, you know what? Now you don't get to go.
Just to
for the first time.
Yeah.
Did you see Anjay's face? Andre was grinning from ear to ear like, Taylor can't use our reward. I was like, Andre, you little brat. How dare you? That's why you got fired, Andre. Sit down. Maybe I am a Taylor defender. I don't know. I just felt away.
So Greg is going to announce that they are going to take the arcade, but has to announce, and also Taylor cannot use it, but we're going to go with the arcade. to really just rub it in her face. She knows.
Yeah, but that's what made it fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get over it. Get over it, you guys. We've heard you the first 12 times. And look. So she can't use your little arcade. You should have got the books anyway. I'm with Taylor. Give him the books.
I'm surprised she doesn't sneak in.
Yeah.
It seemed out of character.
She should have, but I guess for some reason, maybe they had bouncers that we didn't see. Maybe one of the kids, like the jobs, if you're like a merchant, now you're a bouncer at the arcade. You got to really watch the door, make sure no one's going in or something like that.
Double duty. Yeah.
She threatened to backslap them if they came at her sideways. So backslapped her, kicked real hard. Don't come at me.
So the arcade is set up and kids are losing their mind, Chappelle, that kids they're so starved for entertainment in Bonanza City that kids cannot cope with the arcade.
No, and they zoom into the arcade, and I wish those kids were just playing games like normal. I think the first time they showed the arcade, they're like, wow, games. The second time they showed it, they're like shooting craps and shooting pool and like playing like Texas Hold'em. I said, who are these children? They evolve relatively quickly in that arcade.
Blaine's like, hey, I got money on this game.
Exactly. Did a parlay halfway through this.
Yeah.
I bet my sleeping arrangements on this. Sorry.
DK is going to try to start from the position. DK is pretty anti-arcade the whole way through. He's going to say, all right, look, we're going to do the arcade later. Everybody's got to do their chores first, and then we'll do the arcade time. That starts off okay. It will not last.
I hate DK.
You don't like him?
I don't.
Why not?
I peeped DK at the beginning for what he was. So in the first episode, DK like told one of the kids, like, I'm 12 years old. You watch how you talk to me. Like, you're going to respect me. DK, that's a lot for a 12-year-old. The moment they put him in power, boom, DK like emerges. I was like, this is not different. He's been saying this like subtly. You just didn't give him enough screen time. He's always big on like who's going to respect him and who's going to listen to him. DK, sit down. Sit down. Just let these kids live.
When they were kind of debating between the books, the library, and the arcade, and DK was like, I like books. Like, let's read some books instead of going to the library. That was when I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't like DK that much after all. Like, what are you talking about picking the books?
Well, Sophia is going to set up her own library. She buys books from the general store and then makes like a teepee in the middle of town and says it's the library. Phil, Sophia has like a lot of different capers that she's trying to run on this town.
Yeah, I feel like half of it is kind of like playing mind games with the kids because she knows
messing with them.
Like she's the oldest and so she can kind of do whatever she wants. But also I think a lot of it is just like she works hard and then she's bored. And so all she wants to do is just like play games with these guys. Like, and so she's like, I'm just going to buy all these books for 80 cents. Yeah.
Yeah. She just like, just like over the course of the season, we're going to see when she like ropes off an area. There's the time, Chappelle, where she made everybody lay down in the center of town. There was the time that she danced for money in the middle of town. There was the time that she like made like a giant vat of vomit and told kids there was a nickel in it. I mean, she's just like messing with everybody.
Yes, she's insane. Sophia I think she's just older than everybody, like Phil said. So she's to the point where what is she supposed to talk about with these 9-year-olds? She's 14.
She's 14 going on 30.
Right. The oldest 14-year-old who ever lived. And she's supposed to spend time with, these little, like Jared. So, she's just looking for something to do. I think
she's like their babysitter.
I'm just giving you guys a little known fact, actually. Sophia's actually one of the producers of the show. And so, but she's like 14 years old, but that's kind of why she's doing all these little like social experiments on everybody because, she's like participating in, actually producing the show.
I have questions for her then. Yeah. I didn't know she was a producer. I want to ask her why Taylor gets such a bad edit, but Jared walks around flipping tables and not working and sneaking into arcades, and everybody loves Jared, but Taylor wants to defend some chickens, and we have to watch her get drawn into the wolves and like the 4 oldest boys and come like jumper. I don't like this, Sophia. Let's talk. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Jared and Mike, they cannot handle that there is an arcade in town, and they pretty much short circuit. They are supposed to be doing work, and they're just like, okay, they're over it. Listen to, I think that this is Mike.
Oh, crap.
I mean, these are little kids. And then Jared tells us shortly after that,
You know what? Screw the job.
screw this job. We're going to the arcade. Really, Jared? Screw this?
Mm-hmm.
Screw this
These are
job?
the problems that the pioneers faced, long ago between, should I fill water into the water tower to feed our community? Or should I go in the arcade and play Mario Kart? I don't really know.
Yeah.
Dance Revolution. It looked like that game was kicking Jared's ass, to be quite frankly. I don't think that's for you, Jared. But yeah, do you notice when Jared says that, we all laugh? But when Taylor says it's like, dum, 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 like, screw this, like, goes to commercial, fades to black, zooms in, like, yeah, the fix is in. I see you, Sophia.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Mike and Jared, that they are just lose their minds in the arcade. Phil, I thought the arcade is pretty nice, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. They kind of like turn it into some kind of like casino. They close the blinds. There's no clocks on the walls. Like, you kind of have no idea where you are. You kind of just go in and then, all in. Let's go. Let's play. And then I don't know. It was weird that they put in poker there too. Like, they were really like pushing it. Sometimes I feel like this show pushes it,
Yeah.
with the bar and everything. Like, why'd you got to put poker in there? I don't know.
Yeah, they're hoping for bad behavior out of the kids. They'd like to see it. Yeah.
But Rob, I actually have a question, because I feel like this is something that kind of dates the show. Like the idea of the arcade. When I was a kid, I used to love going to the arcade, but now, like, do your kids know what an arcade is? Or now is everything just on their iPad?
Well, pre-COVID, yeah, that they know what the arcade is. Because I feel like there's still places you go, and it's like the Dave and Buster's and places that where you're trying to just like rack up tickets to get a prize.
Yeah, it's the Chuck E. Cheese too. I guess that still counts. Okay, my apologies. I'm sorry for belittling
I don't
the
think it's
generation.
necessarily like purely like you go there and play video games, but I feel like that there's like a lot of these places where you go and you're playing these games to try to get tickets to get crappy prizes.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, prizes that you could literally buy. For like, you could buy like 25 of those stuffed animals for the amount of tickets that you're about to go try to get. But okay,
it's a super frustrating experience as a parent, because that you, especially if you have little kids who like they go into that place and it's like, oh, I want this thing that's 7,000 tickets. And then also the kids suck at the games. So you have like kids that they want the thing. You need a lot of tickets. Like, all right, kids, just let me play all the games. I'll win it. Like, no, we want to do it. Like, oh, well, you suck at the game. Well, we're never going to get anything.
They just make it so expensive now too. Well, you got to just really like shop all the games and look, all right, this is the game you're good at. All right, do this one. Play this game right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I took my kids to Dave and Buster's once, maybe like last summer. And then I was just like, that's it. We're going to the dollar store and then get everything you want. It's the same stuff that's here. You can have anything you want here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Flip the guy behind the counter $20 and just tell him to hand it to you. And I guarantee you he will. He'll be like, okay, here you go. And go on about his day.
Yeah. All right. So meanwhile, Zach is going to try to connect with Taylor. And we had a little bit of a breakthrough with Taylor that Zach is trying to connect with her and says like, hey, I want you to help us with washing the dishes. And Taylor says this.
I'll do dishes, but I don't like to.
Yeah. And yeah, I felt so seen, Chappelle.
Mood. A whole vibe.
Yeah.
A whole vibe. Just why are people so angry at Taylor for saying the things that we want to say?
Yeah.
We are watching her as our avatar, as our proxy. Taylor is doing the things. Sure, we might have a higher tolerance for ugly chickens than she does, but she makes a valid point about dishes. Who likes to do those?
Yeah.
Chappelle, every night do you go, to your sink and you say, I'm gonna scrub these dishes like I scrub my hair? You say that?
Like I scrub my hair and then just roll up my sleeves and put my hair into a bun and then get to washing every dish in town basically alone.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little extreme.
Yeah.
It's a little extreme.
But I just really related to like, I'll wash these dishes, but I don't want to. Just like I feel that's every single thing I do. I'll do it, but I don't want to do this.
Yeah. And about these dishes, Rob,
yes,
you have small children. Would you trust them to wash the dishes that you're going to eat off of?
Probably not. That's a good point.
Exactly. Taylor washed every dish in town. And I'm thinking, that girl, if we want to eat coli, we just go to Chipotle. This is disgusting. Like, you don't not trust no 9-year-old who doesn't like washing dishes to wash your dishes properly so that you can eat off of them. Those are the most half-ass washed dishes I've ever seen in my life. And I guarantee you're going to catch something if you eat off of them.
Yeah, be careful, everybody.
They saved it at the end, so that if they get sick, they'll just be able to go home. Like, Taylor definitely was waiting on that one. Cause yeah, I'd have Sophia do my dishes any day over Taylor doing the dishes. Absolutely not. Yeah.
Or DK, since he thinks he's in charge of every goddamn thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Phil, and so Greg is even impressed with what Taylor did, and he announces she can go to the arcade. But then we talked about this last week of Greg carrying some of the girls around the city. Here he is. He carries Taylor into the arcade, he's bringing her into like they're married, and he's carrying her into the house.
Yeah, like some kind of honeymooner. I know, but I don't know. I guess Greg kind of has his big brother instincts again. They're once again kicking in or something like that. I don't know if he has younger siblings, but I guess during these episodes, I used to always really despise Greg, and now I think Greg is kind of just a little bit bad. I don't know. Not that he had a major growth arc, but at least in these episodes, I saw, okay, maybe Greg can, at least be a functioning, decent human being in society. Not decent, but, you know, somebody. I don't know.
Chappelle, where do you rank Greg?
Rank him amongst the kids or rank him in life?
No, I kind of feel like I feel like there's the chaotic evil, lawful evil.
You been playing Dungeons and Dragons?
No, but I know the squares.
Yeah, I don't really know the squares, but I will say, what is it? Unlawful evil. No, but I think what it is the same thing with Sophia and DK, is that they're just so much older than these other kids. Not so much DK, but Sophia for sure. And Greg as well. It's kind of like, what am I going to talk to these kids about? I have to entertain myself. And tormenting children sometimes can be a little fun. I'm not saying I would do it, but if I was there stuck with them, then I wouldn't not do it all the time. I think Greg just kind of hit his stride in being a bully because it was kind of fun. And those good moments are when he's taking care of the little kids, right? When they're crying and they want to go home, and Greg's the guy patting her on the back, or when Taylor's getting punished, he was the one who carted her in, and to all her screaming fans, Taylor, yay! Kelsey's losing her mind over there, fist pumping. So yeah, I think Greg is not as bad as he might have come. He wouldn't have been as bad around older kids. I'll say that. But the younger ones, he wasn't trying to play nice with them. Yeah.
He has sort of the older cousin vibe in that, he'll at one point he'll be making all the little kids cry, but then he also if they're crying, he'll try to make them feel better. It's a love-hate relationship with these kids. If he's tormenting them, it's fine, but if anybody else has made them upset, he gets pissed.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. It's he stakes his claim over who he's allowed to be mean to. Wait, is someone else being mean to you? What? No, that's not cool at all. I'm the only person that can be mean to you. What's going on? Yeah. Gotta get to the bottom of this.
Okay, so the next morning, I guess, Phil, did the kids stay up all night in the arcade?
I'm not. I don't. I mean, I know everyone
they wake up early
in the arcade all the time.
They got up early.
I think, I think they got up early and because they're in it all day. Come on, there's nothing else to do here. We got 2 days left.
Yeah, it's 10 a.m. Look, if you ain't never played craps at 10 a.m., you're not living. That's the perfect time. You look, the casino goers will tell you got to get in there while the machines. You got to let somebody warm it up for you, and then you get on the machine. They're pumping oxygen into that little arcade room. Those kids don't know what day it is. They're just in there trying to get this money. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wish someone had the job of being a dealer or something like that, at the club, at the casino. They're the ones giving out all the cards with the little bow tie. That would have been amazing.
So Sophia is mad because why do I have to make breakfast? I'm not even a cook. What's going on? Blaine and Blaine calls Sophia a psycho. He's pissed.
He's not.
Well, listen, she's trying to. What? He's supposed to cook breakfast? He's got money on this game, Sophia. I don't know what you want him to do. He started playing a game and he has to make money. I don't. And also, it was funny watching DK just be I think I've made a huge mistake. Just realizing like how much like the arcade has just sucked everybody out of the town community and actually working, and now they're just playing games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a big distraction for the town. Nobody can concentrate on getting anything done now that the casino is open.
Yeah, it's the real villain of the show, kind of like a Game of Thrones, where it's not, and any person, it's not the Night King who's the villain. It's the actual throne itself. And sometimes the dragon just needs to melt it down into, a pile of metal. And so DK looked at this was his Game of Thrones. This was his throne. He needed to
break the wheel.
He had to break the wheel. Listen, DK, I don't agree with a lot of stuff he's saying, but he's seen the season. Yeah. He's seen it.
So DK is going to stand up. We have our gather up town hall meeting, everybody. And DK is going to say, hey, let's put a padlock on that place. Let's lock it down. Lock it down. No arcade, at least until the chores are done.
I really wonder if it's like, this just might be my head, but I wonder if the producers are the ones who are like, all right, these people, we're not getting good TV right now. All these kids are doing is just like playing craps, playing billiards, playing Dance Dance Revolution. Like, come on. Like, we have a show to make. Like, we're putting a padlock on it. DK, tell them, I wonder if that would have been it.
Yeah. And we have to elect a person to be in charge. And Sophia becomes the town sheriff. Chappelle, was Sophia the right choice for the sheriff of Bonanza City?
Sophia is the only choice for the sheriff of any. If Sophia was the sheriff today, I would not be shocked at all. This is the role she was born to play. She has been dying to get these people in control, and I don't mind it honestly because first of all, she's crazy. She got up at 10 a.m. to cook these kids breakfast while they all played games. I would have had breakfast by myself on my clean dishes that I washed, and then I would have went in there and shot some craps. So Sophia, she likes to take the, bite the bullet and do all this extra stuff. So she is the perfect candidate for this job.
Yeah, she was bored anyway. I mean, Phil, I think she's a pretty good sheriff. I mean, the power never really goes to her head. She's one of the few kids in Kid Nation that ever gets power and doesn't abuse it.
Yeah, I feel like this is actually, for me, one of the most disappointing parts about Kid Nation is that Sophia actually does a good job at being a sheriff, and she actually is able to really motivate people and get them to do their tasks versus, her being totally, like, corrupt with power, which is what I always love to see in my reality TV. But yeah, no, Sophia actually does a great job, and, we're going to see in the next episode, some of the kids aren't going to like it as much, but she kills it. I'm sorry, I don't know what else you want me to say. Sophia's a great sheriff.
Okay. Gold Star time. That they really yada yada the Gold Star. It just comes out of nowhere. There's no discussion about it. Some kid named Hunter gets the Gold Star.
Who the hell is that?
Chappelle, you don't like Hunter?
Who is that?
Yeah. Phil, what do we know about Hunter?
Nothing. All we know about Hunter, which the Hunter's entire story this season has just been, I like to work hard. That's my family values. Yeah. That's what my dad had taught me. Like, we get a shot of everyone.
My dad in my pocket.
Yeah, everyone's like playing, everyone's in the arcade having the time of their lives. And Hunter's like, these people don't understand work ethic like me and my father. I just like to work hard. And that's like his whole character. Like, it's kind of boring. I don't know. But I guess they had to give it to him. They're running out of people,
He wanted to give the money to his dad because his dad is unemployed, right? So that's like the thing. And so he gets to call his dad and tell him about the 20K. And his dad was so happy.
Yeah, what'd you think of his dad? I don't know.
His dad sounds like all he saw was dollar signs. Like, the rest of these parents do a good job of being like, oh, I'm so proud of you, honey. And this, that, other. And his dad was like, so you're paying rent now.
Yeah.
And they like laugh about it. But his dad was like, no, seriously, I've been unemployed for a year.
Times are tough, Hunter.
Yeah. You got to sleep here. You got to pay your way. So Hunter knows what's going on.
And then we close the episode like we always do. We need a button from Jared. And Phil, Jared sneaks into the arcade to do some Dance Dance Revolution.
This is just what we want. This is what the American people needed, and this is like what they required for their television screen. I just want to watch Jared play Dance Dance Revolution on a YouTube live stream for 8 hours, and I can die a happy man. So this was excellent. I was a big fan of this.
Yeah. He snuck in, and then I was hoping that he would get caught, Chappelle, but he manages to sneak out.
No, imagine that. Jared just doing what the hell he wants while other people can't even protect chickens. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to plant my flag here. I just think that we're getting a really good edit for Jared. And I don't know why, because this kid, he legit vandalized Devon's shop.
Yep, he flipped it over.
And she was like, oh, poor baby, come here. Let me give you a hug. Devon, girl, tell that man to grow up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not a fan.
Listen, he's working on a teleportation device. You know, he needs his time off where he can just play Dance Dance Revolution. Like, just trust the process, all right? Like, he's working on bigger things here.
Fine, Phil. I trust you.
Okay. Episode number 12 is going to be a wild ride, episode number 12, where we're going to see a field trip out of Bonanza City for our leadership. And then we're going to see a lot, some really wild stuff going on here in Bonanza City. Okay. We start off with Sophia is going to. Is this would you call this an autonomous zone that Sophia really just squares off in the center of Bonanza City?
It's the attack zone. Can't go in the attack zone.
Yeah. She's like, I roped off this zone. If you go in it, you owe me 5 cents. She's like, I knew. Once I said you couldn't do it, every kid would want to be in there.
Like, she's just as bad as Greg. She's just as bad.
Yeah, like, what are you looking for, really? Of course they're going to do it. They're all bored. We're all bored. And the box is so small, too. That's what makes it so funny. Like, it's not like she, like, closed off this big part of the town. No, she closes off, 6 feet by 12 feet or, small area. And now all of a sudden the kids just want to go inside and for no reason, just because.
Yeah, it does seem, though, that there is a through line to all of her escapades is that she does end up making money somehow by enticing the kids with I made a square. If you go in it, you owe me money now. And then they were like, no, you have to let us in. Come on, we have to be in there. That's the one spot in the whole ghost town that we need to walk through.
Yeah, no, she's running the show. She's the sheriff. I wonder if Bonanza City stayed instead of the 40 days, if they continued there, if we came back in 1 year and Sophia was just the grand dictator of all of Bonanza City, because I think she would have done a great job running it.
She seems to be the most effective leader we've seen in all of Bonanza City.
Really? Better than what's Guyland to you?
Guyland burned hot.
He was excitable, but no, listen, for my money, give me Laurel. Laurel is the best leader they've had. This Sophia thing, I think it's just that she's the oldest. They had to throw her a bone at some point. She has been cooking and cleaning and slaving and trying to get these kids to do little tiny tasks where she's probably doing the brunt of the work anyway, like the lion's share. And so, yeah, I can imagine them giving Sophia a little power because shoot, she's old and these kids are tiny. But make no mistake, Laurel is the better leader. Mm-hmm. Definitively. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a woman of the people.
Yeah. Certainly of her people. Do you feel like that she was trying to funnel the gold stars to the green team?
I have a theory.
Yeah.
So for the first couple weeks, the green team were the workers. They were at the bottom because they suck at challenges. They won 1, and then they were back down to workers. And so I think they were working the hardest because they had to. So she could easily point to, oh, look, it's such and such because we've been scrubbing the toilets all week, or this is such and such because they've been working really hard. Well, yeah, all of y'all are working really hard because y'all can't win a challenge to save your life. It's the blue team, they don't have to do anything. So how do they win the hard worker work? I get it. You can volunteer, but why would you? I think the only person from the blue team that won a gold star was Mallory. And that's because her sister came and stunted. Her sister came and stumped for her. Hey, you should give it to my 9-year-old sister. She's great.
I think Greg got one also, right?
Yeah, after he begged for it, he about to go to college. It's not the same. So I think Laurel, even though she was stumping for her people, they were working the hardest. What can you say?
Yeah, Chappelle, you bring up a really good point. Rob, I think if you actually were to bring your kids onto season 2 of Kid Nation, tell them to throw every single challenge so that, they're always in the lower class, so they have to, scrub the toilets. And so they get the gold star way easier. I mean, that's how you game the system.
And once they get the star, never work again. Go full Taylor. Just sit down. Nope, I don't want to. Nope. Reading is boring. Yeah, deal with it. Like, do that. But you have to get into the working class first. That's why they were racking them up.
Mm-hmm. So the town council gets an assignment that they need to go and visit a civilization that inhabited these lands well before the original settlers of Bonanza City. So
the Ewoks.
Yeah, they're going on a field trip. They're going to go on a field trip, and they leave Sophia in charge because she is the sheriff, and she's going to make sure everybody is doing their work. She's keeping the slackers out of the arcade. I mean, she's got the place running on point, Phil.
Yeah, this entire episode, like you said, they read the book, and the book says, Bonanza City failed because, they didn't go out and explore, and they didn't, go see different things. And it's a weird, argument to make that, American civilization failed because, they weren't having that many, interactions with, American Indians and,
yeah.
But they go there. And I guess, it's interesting to see, them do that. But I guess the funniest part about this episode is the fact that, the team leaders have to say, we're leaving. We might not be back for the challenge. We might not even be back for town council. And Sophia's in charge. Sorry.
Yeah, it seemed like that they just made an excuse for like the biggest, strongest kids to be away for a very physical challenge, because I don't know if they really garnered a lot of information from their encounter with the indigenous people. But I guess let's talk about that. Chappelle, do you feel like that did Kid Nation do a good job dealing with this depiction of the Native Americans?
I think it's fine. So I think you're right. They picked the strongest, biggest people because, one, they had to go walk all the way there. But also they probably want some people who can handle themselves in front of adults. Like you, don't get me wrong. Alex is a 9-year-old who I would trust with my life. But all of them are not going to be as, open to going and visiting a culture and being respectful and stuff like that. So I think they were trying to send the older kids as representatives. I still think there could have been a better representative, but they also could not trust any of those power hungry boys to be in charge by themselves. So I think it was a good opportunity for them to do that and to have a cultural experience that some of the little kids might not have appreciated as much.
Yeah, I do feel, Phil, that Kid Nation dodged a bullet here. I mean, there was, I really felt like that, oh boy, this is not gonna go well, where we're gonna bring Native Americans into this. But I do feel like that seemed like there was nothing egregious in this episode.
Yeah, luckily enough, not that many people were watching at this point. So, they kind of got away with it barely. I don't know. I had to actually just do more research onto who these people were, because they did kind of vaguely say, these are the Native Americans. And so I, looked up, and so they're the Pueblo people, which are just Native Americans who are in the southwest region of America. But they kind of don't really say anything else. And so they kind of just, I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal was, or if they got some kind of CBS contract, or, how they got them to be on the show. But they did it, and it went okay, I assume. It was fine.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about Jared and Alex?
Love them.
Oh, they're the best.
Yeah.
Are we talking about why Alex is the best kid at Kid Nation? Because I could probably write a book about it.
Well, tell us, why is Alex the best kid at Kid Nation?
Well, for one, he's a genius, but he seems so nice. He wants to be a chemist or a geography teacher, but especially a linguist. And I respect that because, like I said, linguistics is everything. So I love Alex. I don't know Jared like that. I can't really speak on his character. I told you, I've been seeing some things that are problematic, and I just want to, say that for me, Alex.
So this was wild. Jared and Alex go for a walk, and they encounter, would you say, a carcass How would you describe this that they find? They find a pile of animal bones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the perfect duo to find it, though.
Yeah.
Right? Who would you trust with this archaeological dig that they just came across?
Mm-hmm. You're right.
These two minds are really able to kind of, if I had to pick anybody to go and find these bones, it would be Jared and Alex for sure.
The forensics team. Here they are. It's Jared and Alex, and they're picking up these like disgusting animal bones, and they're just playing.
If we had some carbon dating processes, we could see how old the cow was.
Yeah. Carbon dating, is that what you would use here? Does that sound right?
I mean, again, I'm the person that always just takes Jared's word for everything, so I have no idea. Listen, like, they could say anything about those bones and I would just believe it. I don't know. Yeah, they're incredibly intelligent people, for sure.
I mean, Chappelle, if my 9-year-old went out on this show and then I'm watching footage of him like, here's a dead animal skull, let me put this on my head like a football helmet. Let's carry these bones back to camp that vultures have been eating off of for God knows how long. Okay, let's see if we can put this skeleton back together.
Right. And you wonder why they sent the older kids to go be with the Native Americans. Like, you don't want to offend anybody, but you also don't want to do anything gross in front of them, too. Like, reach up and, like, put a dead animal on your back. Like, hey, look, you guys. Nice to meet you, Pueblos. You know, so I think, I'm pretty sure they made the right decision. But meanwhile, the older kids are just off with the Pueblo people asking, so how do we make little kids listen? Mm-hmm. How do we do that? So this is what they have. This is what Greg and DK and them have to deal with. They have to deal with Alex and Jared randomly picking up carcasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also wanted to just say, Alex talks about how he wanted to be a linguist, and I did some research, and apparently Alex has already at this point created 10 different languages and 30 to 40 different alphabets.
Wow.
So he did it. He's a linguist. I don't really know what that means to create a language, but I think that's linguistics. So fantastic job, Alex.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you a shout out.
And no word on what Jared has done, right?
None.
Okay,
absolutely.
we don't know.
Yeah, he's still working on his project right now. He's got some stuff going on.
Yeah. They leave with the bones, and Jared tells us this.
Pelvis has left the building, baby.
Pelvis has left the building, Chappelle.
Yeah.
Did somebody tell him to say that?
Yeah. No.
Because he commented, that was corny. That was corny. Yeah. So he knows it's not great.
I feel like most of Jared's lines are fed to him, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Do you agree, Chappelle? What do you think?
I wish I could, but sometimes they just go to him so quick and he's ready. He might be one of the more powerful minds that we've come across.
It wasn't a confessional. So. Yeah,
he just kind of just says it. But he did the Hasta la Vista baby one time, and I kind of raised my eyebrow then thinking like, how much Schwarzenegger? Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It could be fed to him, but I like to believe that this is him. This is just Jared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They could have Jared say legit anything, and I think it would just be funny. I think that's kind of what the producers realized, too. It's like, okay, well, Jared can literally say a single, like, anything, and all of a sudden it'll be just, like, a catchphrase or something like that. Like, it'll be the funniest line anyone's ever said.
Mm-hmm. Phil, the chief ends up telling the town leadership, remember, basically, what goes around comes around. Does that pay off in any way? Is that sort of like a allegory for the gold stars of doing good deeds?
Yeah, well, at the end of the show, we find out that Greg does not get into any colleges. So, again, it's like what goes around comes. No, that doesn't actually happen. But yeah,
oh my gosh, ew! I was like, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, nothing really happens with that. That's the other thing. Like, the chief is giving them all of this kind of really vague advice, and it's like, what are we even watching? Like, he's like, in life, it's very easy to be mean, it's very easy to be mean and easy to be selfish. But like, yeah, we know that. Sure. Yeah. What is that giving us? I don't know.
No behavior was changed by this interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is on deaf ears. Okay.
But it's nice to see Greg, try to I feel like when Greg's around other adults, he puts on his like nice adult face. He's like, oh, nice to meet you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Greg is like just pummeling the other kids, not really caring about them at all.
Yeah. Okay. So we gather up, pioneers. It's time for our Homestead Act Showdown, which will involve moving a homestead. Carry all the pieces and then get a chicken and then grab your alpaca. Also, move the alpaca.
Build a home.
when I first saw this challenge, I was like, this is actually pretty brilliant. I was like, they're going to, disassemble a house, carry all that stuff over. But then we soon realize most of the challenges is all these kids just carrying over walls and roofs. Like, there's not that much enticing elements to this challenge that actually makes it entertaining. I thought it would be a lot more fun than it actually ended up being,
No, not super fun. The red and the green team were okay. The yellow and blue team were struggling, but eventually they're going to get a reward. Reward time. Time for a decision. Okay, and this I thought was an interesting call. Okay. You could either have a monument, Chappelle, that to remind everybody, I guess, that visits this ghost town that kids were here once upon a time, or a hot air balloon ride.
I think had this been earlier in the season, that first the first council of people would have probably picked the monument, right? Like, I could really see Anjay and Laurel and even Taylor going like,
Mike would be a big monument guy.
Oh yeah, Mike would be a monument guy. But 30 days in, man, I'm ready to go home. Half my friends done quit. I'm so tired of sleeping, and it's cold outside. It has snowed. It has rained. It is like sleeted. All the weather patterns have come through this one town: a dust storm, a tornado, a monsoon, all within the same 3 days. And so they're ready to go. They don't want to remember this. So they would be happy to go see it from a bird's eye view and then go home. So I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I just kind of feel like if they actually pick the monument, there's no way, especially now, CBS is not keeping that monument,
well,
right?
What happened to the monument? Did they blow it up? Did they throw it out? Where's the monument?
I bet someone has that. Someone bought it on eBay. It's in Kramer's apartment or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Memorabilia or something, I have no idea
the monument was made. It wasn't like a mock-up of this is a diorama of a monument that will be constructed. They made the monument.
Yeah, but I wonder if someone does have it. Ask one of the listeners what might have the monument. I have no idea what happened to it.
What happened to the monument? They should have said, okay, you don't want it? This is wired with TNT. We're going to explode it right in front of you.
And Mallory's like, blow it up.
Yeah.
Blow it up.
It must be destroyed. No, they pick, Sophia goes with hot air balloons.
I think that's the right choice, right? What do you guys think? Yeah.
Chappelle, would you go for a hot air balloon ride?
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I would, especially in this situation. Again, I don't think you want the monument. I think parts of this journey they might want to forget. I'm not 100% sure this isn't a punishment camp. What's that book, Holes? This is Camp Green Lake, and they think they're at summer camp, but they're just building houses and laying PVC pipe. I think these kids might have been being punished. We might want to look into this. Yeah. They're smart, but are they good people? What are their vibes?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's really true. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's the night before the hot air balloon ride. We're going to get a lot of toasts of this is sort of it's, towards the end of the semester. Everybody's looking back at things already. And a lot of speeches are going on, Phil.
Yeah, I don't know. Now we're at the point of the show where it feels like the end of summer camp is coming. I think we all kind of know that feeling of I was kind of beat to death every single day, and I kind of really had a lot of anxiety during my time here. But you know what? I'm going to miss it. I'm really going to miss it, And so I think that's kind of what they're all going through right now and looking back. And I do think that hot air balloon, experience must have helped. I've never been on one, but I assume if you look up anything from afar, it's wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Not for me, the hot air balloon. I don't know.
Really?
Not super interested. I feel like that I'm not afraid to fly. Like even in like a helicopter, I think I'd be okay. I feel like that there's a high chance of like falling out or something going wrong. It's like I'm just in a balloon right now. Like I feel like we're really exposed to the elements. Yeah. I feel like my life is hanging on in the balance. Like if there's like an errant dart,
not a dart,
a pigeon flies into this thing. I don't know how it works.
Oh, as soon as you see a gust of wind, you're like, what's going on? Get me off of this.
So you would have picked the monument, Rob. Is that what you're telling us?
I think I probably would have voted monument. Yeah. Yeah.
You would have picked the library too then.
No, I'd go Rob. Arcade over library, but I feel like I'd go monument over hot air balloon ride.
Ponies or monument?
The ponies you couldn't even do. They never even said that the ponies were for riding. They were like, you can bring them to go move stuff.
More work. I'm telling you, we might need to look at this through a different lens. These people are here to work, and that's it.
I did think it was a good looking monument.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. It's fine. They blew it up shortly after.
Okay. We're starting to hear a little bit more about some of the science experiments that Jared is working on, because here's what Jared tells us that he is really thinking about.
Teleportation has already been invented on a small scale.
Really?
Yeah. They've teleported subatomic particles to the other side of the Earth.
Jet.
Okay. All right. Chappelle, I think of you as one of the smartest people I know. Is this true? Is this true? Have we teleported particles to the other side of the world?
Who are me to question Jared? This guy, look, I've seen, what is it, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Yeah. I know the Mike TV game. You just shrink it down, and then you just send the little pieces of chocolate across to the other TV. I get the concept, Jared. Has it been done? Sure, maybe. If Jared says it, who am I to question that? Yeah. It's Jared, man. That's what he's here for. Yeah.
DK is like, oh wow, oh my god, I had no idea.
and DK thinks this is enough. Like, we should be funding this research.
Yeah.
They treat it like a government funded like research grant. Yeah, it's like, and by the time they're actually figuring out like who to give the gold star, that comes later. But they're like, this money could be really allocated in like a great way. We contribute to science in Bonanza City.
Yeah.
Like what? Teleportation? That does not really exist, guys. Come on.
Yeah. This 9-year-old kid, he's got it figured out. He's $20,000 away. We could all be having this. We could change the world with this gold star.
Yeah, screw you, Jared. You have barely been working. You've been terrorizing everybody. You're not getting that gold star. I'm sorry. If I'm looking at DK, it's like, DK, shut up. What are you talking about? He doesn't deserve this star. So he could go to college. Jared is not going to have any problem getting into college. Give another one of those things to Greg, because he's going to need it. Matter of fact, give one to Blaine. He's probably going to school more like faster than Greg is, but give one. Jared will be fine. Once somebody airs this, they're going to be jumping all over themselves to get Jared to recruit it to their college or whatever. I didn't like that. Jared doesn't get to make a last minute push for like science research. Like, sit down, Jared. Stop it.
Some talk about who's going to get the gold star, Phil. Sophia is saying Alex should get it. Some of the girls are saying Michael should get it. Migle.
Yeah, Migle.
Migle.
There's some talk, on the interwebs about, what the point of, giving the gold star to Migle is, because for me and for I think all of us, when we watch the show, we're like, who is Migle? Like, what did she do into the camp? How is she involved in this? And so, like Alex, like you said, like Alex makes the push for Migle here. And we apparently on Michael's Reddit AMA, we're going to see that apparently some of the guys might have been interested in Migle.
They were crushing on Migle.
That's supposedly, like, he alleges to it in the AMA, and so apparently Michael, didn't really care about giving Migle a gold star, but a lot of the other guys in Bonanza City, had a real big idea to, give the gold star to Migle.
Spoiler alert, just to jump ahead, episode 30, that Migle is gonna come out here with a 50K gold star too. Migle is getting those stars.
You know, Greg was behind that, right? You know, it was definitely like a Greg push. Like, wait a minute, give it to Migle. Like, hey, Migle, I got you $30,000 more than I got everybody else. You know, come hang out with me. I think that.
I mean, she got $70K.
Oh, did she get?
No, Alex got it.
I
was gonna say, whoa, hold on, Migle, calm down. What is Migle? Never mind.
Yeah,
we're just gonna hope and pray that she's having a great life wherever she is with her money.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Greg is going to help out. Is it Zach has a meltdown, Phil?
Oh, no.
Zach is like trying to say that he should get the gold star, and everybody laughs at him, and then Zach just loses it.
Yeah, what is this? Like, Zach is giving you this impassioned speech, you know, because he hasn't gotten a gold star. I actually forgot about that. I was like, oh, wait, Zach never got his gold star. Yeah. And as soon as he says something, we just get Greg laughing. Like, what? I don't understand what he's laughing about. And of course, Zach's going to lose his mind. You know, he's invalidating him. Sucks.
Yeah. I mean, Chappelle, Zach really loses it.
Zach cares more about respect than DK does. Zach is like, I don't care if you like me, but you will respect me. You're not going to laugh in my face. I deserve this star. And I'm with Phil. I thought he'd already gotten one. I was like, Zach should have been had a star, quite frankly. All that preaching and stuff he was doing episode 2 and 3. Like, I thought Zach had already gotten his star and went on about his business.
I think that Taylor was still on the town council at the time when he was making a run. And I think she was threatened by him. And she's like, no, I don't think so. Not Zach.
Yeah, I just love that we're talking. I just love that we're talking politics like this. Continue, Chappelle.
Yes.
No, but Zach took over, and so he was no longer eligible for the thing. But then he quickly got impeached. You know, like they got him out of there so fast, and you know, it's not the worst strategy to kind of show your leadership ability and then also be back in the running to get a star. But I cannot tell you how hard I laughed at Zach having his meltdown, because he was not upset that they didn't want to give him the star. It was that they didn't respect how much he cared about Bonanza City. Like, no, Zach, you're 10 years old. Like, just put a 10-year-old is coming to you like, you ought to respect me. And like, no, I don't. I don't have to.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for him, but he had some points. He made a point.
Yeah. So then he comes back in, and Greg's like, you know what? You're right. I do respect you. You like, you know, I really, you know, I'm proud of you. I respect what you have to say. And then DK is like, you're a hypocrite. You don't respect him. You were just making fun of him a second ago. What's wrong with you, Greg?
Again, it's like just like Big Brother Greg. You know, it's like, you know, as soon as his faults are admitted, then he totally backtracks. He's like, no, what are you talking about? I've always respected Greg. A big thing with Greg is always respect. Don't question Greg's respect, please, or he's gonna, you know, question yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Time for town hall meeting. And once again, Sophia, she's so active at these town halls. Chappelle, she says, let's shut down the arcade. Time to close it for good. That's it.
I mean, you can't blame her. Again, she's essentially babysitting 30 other children, right? Like, she is the person in charge. These guys are starting about as much chaos as they're actually, you know, like, they're contributing just as much as they're trying to fix, honestly. So she's the de facto mom of this group. And so someone has to make the adult decision. They don't love it. They know that's Sophia's role, but they don't love it. When she got elected sheriff and, oh yeah, we're leaving Sophia in charge, they rioted. Olivia was not happy. She's like, who? We didn't even vote for her. I was like, girl, you haven't voted for half the people who were on the council. Shut up. Let her live. Can she make y'all, like, make Bonanza a better place? I thought that was the goal. So I don't blame her for standing up and trying to get some order, because at some point, it's either her or what's the host name? Jonathan is going to have to step in. Yeah, Jonathan's going to have to do something. I don't mind it was Sophia.
Phil, during this conversation about closing the arcade, like Jonathan was like, he's like, his like, oh, it's like his hand was face was in his hands during this. He was acting like so shocked that the arcade was getting talked about getting closed down.
Yeah, come on, Jonathan. You knew that all y'all wanted to close the arcade because these kids were just being boring. No, the funniest part, the part of this episode that had me dying laughing, is when Colton stood up at the town hall and he was like, guys, we have 3 freaking days left. Just let me play in the arcade. Like, please. Like, I'm not going to be here that long. Like, what else do you want me to do? Just let me have this.
It was a good meeting for like just random outbursts, right? So even when Jonathan's like, so how's everything been going in Bonanza City this week? And Sophia just stands up and says, the arcade is discouraging verbal communication and social gathering. Like, okay, Sophia, do you have a question, or did you just decide that this was your platform today? Can we get to, are you happy with the council first? Like, we have a script, ma'am. So I wasn't mad at these random outbursts. They were kind of funny.
All right. Who's going to get the gold star? It's really, we're being told it's between Alex and Jared. Who's going to get the gold star? And it turns out that it is Alex. And so Jared is hurt, but he's trying to keep things in perspective.
It's not that bad. If I get the Nobel Prize, well, let's just say that's a lot of gold stars.
Yeah, Phil, if he wins the Nobel Prize, nobody's going to be talking about the gold stars.
Not a single person. Yeah, I'm still waiting on Jared to win the Nobel Prize. It hasn't happened yet. I was doing some research. I really had to look through everything with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that Jared didn't win one, but not yet, apparently. But, I'd still be on the lookout. Something's coming. Something's coming with Jared.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be wild, Chappelle, if we hear on the news one day and the Nobel Prize winner for 2022 is Jared something or other from Kid Nation fame. He finally invented teleportation.
Yeah. That would be, that's probably about as realistic as what were y'all saying. Laurel should be singing at the inauguration.
She killed it.
She really did. She knocked that other girl out of the water, random girl number 3. But yeah, I think Jared makes a valid point. I think the cash prize for winning a Nobel Prize is like $8 million or something like that. It's a lot of money to win a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
Like, you get like a good little stipend. So maybe if he got that, that could further some of his teleportation research as well.
Yeah, we're going to also talk about this later on at the end, but I'm starting the campaign, #Jared was robbed. I think we all need to get together.
Be dragging that hashtag.
Get together, GoFundMe, let's give Jared the money. Jared deserves the money. He was entertaining us for 13 episodes, and he did not get 1 cent, besides Buffalo nickels, which does not count, in my opinion. He needs money.
He could. I just think we should slow down. We could very well just watch 13 episodes of this man's supervillain origin story. Okay. He was the star of the show. He was a horrible kid in the background, but super smart. He's like Lex Luthor of Bonanza City. So we don't know if he ever came into the money, but we have to be careful. What is he going to do with this teleportation? Do we know if it's used for good or if it might be for nefarious means? I don't think we should move forward until we're sure.
Yeah. It's going to teleport all of the gold out of Fort Knox.
At this point, I wouldn't put it past him. We haven't seen enough to tell me that he wouldn't.
Okay. Alex, though, wins the gold star. And so Jonathan really puts 9-year-old Alex on the spot here and asks him, all right, what are you going to do with the money?
What do you think you will do with $20,000?
My children and grandchildren, they might really need it. Because, I really don't have any use for $20,000.
Really?
A 9-year-old.
He's like, I'm pretty well off, actually.
It sounds like your family is going to be set up for generations.
It could be a trust.
I wonder
investments.
I wonder if Alex bought stock. Yeah, bought stock in GameStop this weekend.
No, he had Robinhood, so he was about to buy some stock, but they just froze it.
Oh, I bet Jared, that if Jared had a Twitter account, I bet he would be somebody on Twitter really mad today if he couldn't buy any more GameStop.
He'd be on the rampage.
It's not fair.
That's what we should start looking for him.
Wall Street is the root of civilization. No, but seriously, also, Alex was talking about the state of the Bonanza City economy, and he was 9 years old. Did you guys catch that when he was like, the economy is flat and it should be going up? when I was 9 years old, I had no idea like what any of that stuff. Like, what are you talking about,
I
Alex?
still don't know what he's talking about.
Give him the gold star. Like, come on, he earns that for just for saying that. Like, someone should have taken a note of that.
Okay, all right. So he proved that 9-year-olds can do it. Phil, any takeaways from Alex calling his family?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, he talks to his parents and he's so overjoyed. He's so excited. He's like, oh my God, I won $20,000. And his mom is just like, Alex, that's amazing. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And then like he calls his little brother and his little brother, he's like, I won $20,000. And he's like, that's good. Like, once again, that really wooden performances that always kind of weird me out. I don't know.
But little kids don't know what money is.
Alex doesn't.
I don't know if he does or not. Like, that $20,000 to a kid that they don't really know the difference between $20,000 and $40. Like, it's like that sounds like a lot of money, but they don't know. Mm-hmm. They don't know how much things cost. Their parents have money.
Yeah, and I think that's what was so astute about what Alex was saying, because for the first time, he was like, this actually is not that much money in the grand scheme of things. Of course, $20,000 is great and anyone would want it, but Jared, like, it kind of undercut the whole thing, the way Alex was just like, actually, this is not that much. It's a paradox.
Whatever. Yeah, he says it's a paradox. Like, he says it is a lot of money and it's not a lot of money at the same time.
Yeah, and the crowd's like, "Oh, Alex!" Like insert like audience laughter. Yeah. This episode was interesting for me because I got a good hate into a lot of the kids that I already just kind of. There was like kids that I didn't like, and now there's like new kids. Oh, like I never liked Olivia. Like, oh my gosh,
really,
ma'am.
What did she do?
Man. She's so bossy for no reason. She like, listen, we get why Sophia's bossy, but Olivia, the way she was doing Anjay for no reason, like he just kind of just like walks into the room and she's like, ew, Anjay, you suck at your job. Like, well, Olivia, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Like Mallory got the gold star. What have you got? So I don't like Olivia already, but also Nathan. I felt bad for Nathan a couple episodes ago. They were like, "Oh yeah, I think Jared threatened his life. You better sleep with your eyes open or something like." Again, y'all's favorite, Jared threatened that man's life, and I felt bad.
Sleep. Yeah.
And I felt bad for Nathan. Like, oh, it's not his fault. He sings in his sleep. But then when Sophia is left in charge, Nathan is like one of the most like incredulous. Sophia, what? Who told Sophia? Nathan, where do you get off?
Yeah.
How dare you?
When she squared off her zone in the middle of town, he was one of the kids that was like in her face, like, if I ever need to walk through here, don't think I'm not just going to walk right through. If I have to walk through here, if it's in my way, I'm just doing it.
So help me God. Yeah. No, Nathan. Screw you, Nathan.
Nathan's got to haul his water by himself. He's going his own path. He's not listening to what anyone else says.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Chappelle, we have to end the episode with a stinger in every sense of the word here with Jared. Jared meets a scorpion.
I was worried. That was a big scorpion. It was huge. Are they just walking around out there? Do the kids have any protection from these scorpions? Are people spraying? Because Jared, it just seemed like it was just right there. Would you trust your 9-year-old around scorpions?
No.
I really have to question.
No.
Yeah. Who's in charge here? Sophia?
I think the scorpion saw, Jared as just like, this is one of us, just another, you're my friend. you're one with me. Yeah. And I think Jared is totally comfortable with the scorpion. If anyone can get a scorpion to, open up and not bite them or not pinch them or whatever, it's Jared.
Yeah, he better teleport his ass out of there. We'll be hanging out with the scorpion. Phil, he said that his encounter with the scorpion, he thought that he would get an exotic pet when he got home.
Yeah, I don't know if that actually ended up happening for Jared. I don't know what else Jared was looking for, but I don't think the scorpion would be the move for the exotic pet. They should have had a pet at the dry goods store. That would have been something great. Jared would have aspired to save up his money.
They would have had a pet.
See,
he'll take one of the ugly chickens.
This man wanting a scorpion or like an exotic pet as a like take home, like, oh, when I get home, I'm going to get exotic. This doesn't fit right into the supervillain mold. Mm-hmm. A little bit. You guys aren't getting supervillain from him.
You're making a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just making sure I'm not crazy.
Okay. Then episode number 13 is here. And our series finale of Kid Nation. And we're going to ultimately reunite the children with their parents. But first, big montage recap of the season, Phil.
Yeah, I always love it when they try to like really highlight and package the show's entire narrative into 2 minutes. That kind of makes a vague amount of sense. But to be honest, you could show someone the finale and just show them that 2 minutes and they'd kind of just get it. Like, what were they really missing? I don't know. It was fine for me. I thought it was all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Long setup of everything that happened. Chappelle, did anything jump out to you in the opening montage of like trying to frame who was who?
Yeah, it felt like they were just like, okay, we've had you out here we have to give you some airtime, and we at least have to say your name one time to prove that you were on the show so your parents don't sue us. So it came off a little bit like a montage in the background, and then in the front you have like Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen. Like they were just naming each of the kids. Like, oh, and then Markel wears his Kango hat to the side. Oh, thank you. So in case you missed it, there's a kid out there dressed like a 40-year-old barber. I think that was what they were doing. Like, in case you just caught the ending because you got lost somewhere in the middle. Let's just make sure you know that each of these children actually were on the show.
For all the people that tuned in just for the series finale, we open up with Mike, who is reminiscing on his town, and Mike ends up seeing that the town job board has been set ablaze, Phil. Yeah, what's going on here?
Mike is having his like a Paul Revere moment tonight, or like maybe a Moses moment. One of those where he sees the burning, the burning bush. Oh my God, our job tasks are on fire or whatever, and he's like, the British are coming. The British are coming. He's waking everybody up. Saying, the thing's on fire. The thing's on fire, and everyone goes out. I don't know how that started. Can we talk about that? Like, I was trying to do research on that, and I could not find a single thing. Who started this on fire? How was it safe?
Yes.
This confused me.
I think the production clearly set their own job board on fire.
It wasn't Greg, you sure?
Yeah, I don't think this was an arsonist. I think that this was like a ceremonial burning of the job board. Jonathan is right there. I think that they did this on purpose. It was a metaphor, but Chappelle, I think this was a traumatic metaphor for the children.
Oh, why do you think that? Why traumatic?
It seems as though were we attacked? What happened? Who did this?
Yeah, it was one of those moments where they looked up, they saw this, and then all of their Kid Nation training had to go into action. They're grabbing their PVC pipes, they're grabbing their buckets and their pails, and they're going to get water. And we're working as a team. We're putting the water on the fire. We're trying to put out the job board. It was like all the things that we've been practicing for. This is the moment where we could put it all together to save the job board.
How about Jared with just like he's like I only have a cup of water, but I have to do my part.
Yeah, y'all's fave.
Every little nugget. Okay. Listen, it was great. I always love to see it.
Yeah,
he wanted $20,000, and that's the best he thought. I would have rioted. Listen, Jared, I see you. It's
his contribution.
Teleported some water over there. That would have helped. So ultimately, yes, we see Jonathan come over and tells the kids about how, like, oh, look at the job board. Look what's happened. Is it DK who says, listen, the job board is not the town.
Yeah.
DK will just yell things and but he says it in the proper cadence to still kind of motivate people in some way, even if he's just kind of yelling whatever comes to his mind.
I think he said the job board is not the freaking town.
Yeah, he had to let them know. This was very Game of Thrones again, not to spoil it, but sometimes you got to break the wheel. Sometimes you have to melt the Iron Throne down into mush. And so it was symbolic. It was like, hey, this is over. I don't know who did it, but it's over.
Yeah. So this was kind of wild. So Jonathan is there talking to the kids about, look, kids, the job board has been burned down, and I have the Pioneer Journal here. And this little 8-year-old Sophia, she tells Jonathan what he should do with the journal.
Burn it!
Yeah, that was King Mallory. That's your gold star winner from like week 2 or 3.
Mallory.
Yeah,
yes.
Listen, Alex said 9-year-olds rock, and you cannot find a better 2 people in this cast than those 2 9-year-olds. Alex and Mallory deserve their own spinoff. Laurel too. But those 2 that's gold, because Mallory just kind of walks around. She has her nice little shop. She cleans up and sells people furniture and things. But when you give her a chance, she's like, burn it down. So I appreciate that. She was tired of working.
Mallory just wants to watch the world burn. That's it. I absolutely love Mallory. I agree.
So this is wild. So basically, Jonathan tells the kids, there's no job board. So now you kids have to decide how to live. And the whole damn system is out the window. The kids loot every single shop in town. It's pandemonium.
Yeah, these are the kids I know. This is what kids are to me. When you ask me about children, that's what I see when someone says, oh, I have a child. I see like Markel with his Kango hat to the side, but like guzzling Twizzlers and stuff from behind the counter. I see like them throwing food at each other and the flour and all this stuff. All this peace that Sophia has instilled in these kids. This is children.
Yeah.
This is what they are.
Like, get the wheelbarrow. Okay. Back up the truck.
Yeah. It was just insane to just watch the entire city, the entire town that we've been building over these 13 episodes, where every single week we've been learning a new thing. You know, all of these kids have been growing, and, you know, all these kids have been learning more about how to establish a town and establish a community, and it just goes down the drain completely, like within like 1 minute. And all of a sudden now they're just like, there's no status quo to be remained. You know, all these kids are just looting candy, grabbing whatever they can, you know, taking a pogo stick, jumping out the window. Like, it's just madness, complete, total madness.
Yeah. I mean, Chappelle, I'm surprised that there was that much stuff to loot in Bonanza City, because that all these kids do anyway is stay up all night drinking soda and eating candy.
No, they're not drinking soda. They're in here doing sake bombs at the at the town speakeasy and dancing for money in the street. These kids have been chaotic this entire time. But yeah, someone must be coming in and restocking at some point all of this candy, these like goods that they're buying, because they have nothing else to use the money on. They like Sophia came in and bought the one high dollar price like item, which was what a bike.
Yeah.
So everything after that has just been like, let's just go eat some candy. So for them to start looting, like they didn't have any money to just buy it. It was kind of weird to see it. Also, I thought it was interesting that they all just kind of threw their superhero abilities to the side for chaos. I've been tracking this as I watch it, and each kid has like the thing that has them suited to be out there, right? Like, you know, Alex is super, super smart, and Cody is a rancher. And some of the kids are like, I have llamas at my house. I milk cows all the time, stuff like that. And then the moment you say, okay, there's no more jobs, all of that went out the window. Nobody's laying PVC. Nobody's welding anymore. They just went straight from 0 to 100 that quick.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was like craft services or just like the production in general that was like, all right, we're striking this set in 3 days. Like,
yeah,
have all you guys just eat the candy or something like that. Because I don't know what you want us to do with it. Just go have fun for these last couple days and just take everything.
Phil, do you think that the production told the kids, like, I guess there's no rules. I guess you guys can do anything you want now. I guess you guys can be crazy, because it really like set up that then they needed to rebuild the town?
Yeah, I think that has to be it, because otherwise it like legit makes no sense. Like, just because the job board is done, then all of a sudden now, you know, chaos. Society and everything we know, like, what, we need jobs? I don't know. It was kind of, but yeah, it was definitely egged on just by the producers, prompted, totally.
Yeah. If there's no jobs, then there's no order, and everything went to hell in a handbasket. And now they have to dig out of this hole. And DK, he's mad. He doesn't like how this went down. He said this was bad, how the town behaved. And Zach says this was stealing.
DK is like, he's like, give me one reason why people should steal. Like, one reason. Like, I don't understand. Like, why? Like, I think I got a good reason why people steal, DK. Like, I don't think it was that baffling that, you know, these kids just want their candy and they don't want to pay for it. Come on, DK.
Guylan also has some remorse. He says he feels terrible after the riot. Boy, really escalated what happened here in Bonanza City.
They act like they started burning stuff to the ground. Like, all y'all did was steal some candy and pogo stick a little bit. Like, girl, this is okay. It's okay, you guys. And also, y'all have been trapped there and y'all have been dangling candy in front of these kids' faces for 40 days. Of course they lost it. They're children. This is right up their alley. Dylan, yeah, I'm over it. But Zach is very wise. Zach was able to say, like, I didn't love this. I'm happy everybody's having a good time, but this isn't my favorite moment. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. All right. Pioneers, gather up. All right. No showdown, but there is a reward. Jonathan is going to pull out 3 gold stars. And every time these are giant gold stars, and he kept saying, like, this is heavy. This is a heavy one. And so it's going to be worth $50,000 for a gold star. Okay? Everybody's excited. Pumped up. The last gold star. Actually, but we're going to give out a star first. I'm sorry about that. We're going to give out a star, and then later on we're going to get to the 3 gold stars. But the council has to do it on the spot. Who should get the last gold star?
Yeah. And, then we start thinking about who it could be. Mike says, and I'm actually kind of proud of Mike. I've been bagging Mike and just dragging Mike through the mud this entire season. But you know what? Mike kind of has a nice little ending where he says, I was a leader and I could have got it, but I didn't. And now I don't deserve it. So good for Mike for saying that. And of course, Laurel says Sophia should get another one, which, I think Laurel should get another one. But, I think they both did a great job. But we ended out with Zach getting the final gold star, which I'm very happy with. You guys agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
oh, yeah,
he's
100%.
deserving of it. He did a good job. Why was DK crying?
He's just dramatic.
Yeah, he's very much in his feelings, DK.
I think, he had a really good time, at least like listening to the interviews and stuff like that. Besides the whole bleach incident, I think DK was having a good time with all these people. And, I think,
he cried a lot.
In ending. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, it's when you leave summer camp and you have all these friends and now it's all over and you know how to deal with it. I don't know. All that kid stuff, I guess. But
I mean, he wanted to go home at that one point. He was crying.
Yeah.
But then also he was like, he was kind of mean with some of the kids sometimes too.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
Also, and he also, he's injury prone. Can we?
Yeah,
DK has fallen down more than any other kid on this entire show. Every time we look up, he's like pulling a hamstring or like tearing his ACL, lifting something. Like DK,
they bookended the season with DK injuries.
Yeah, did we hear about his tendons before? Because I don't think it was his tendons in the first episode, right? I have no idea.
Yeah, he might just be very dramatic. He's an actor now, right, Phil?
Yeah, he's an actor. He's in Chicago Fire, all that stuff. I don't know what they're doing in those rehearsals, but I think that's just, he's an actor. So,
does Jared ever guest on Chicago Fire? It's coming in with his tin cup to like, I have to do my part.
Jared shows up with the whole cowboy hat on Chicago Fire, and he realizes, oh wait, I think I'm in a different show. I don't know what's going on.
Holy banana bread! Another fire.
No, he's in Chicago PD. He's like, lock your cell door tonight.
Yeah, sleep with one eye open.
Okay. Zach gets the gold star. He never thought he would get one. Greg sees Zach having a future in politics. Chappelle, has Zach run for any elected office yet?
Yeah, he was just impeached not too long ago.
Zach? Oh my God.
Oh no! I'm sorry. That he gives me strong vibes. That's all I'm saying. But
Zach
I don't know if he's running. Yeah, Zach just he seems like he seems like he's very sure of himself in his convictions and for things. And so I think Zach, wherever he is probably very successful with what he's doing. Okay,
I hope so. We get a weird situation that goes on with the girls. There is a last night, a day 39 sleepover being scheduled, and it's going to be Taylor and her crew. First thing they do, Phil, is, well, we want the chickens to sleep in our room for the last night. So chickens, they get the invite to the sleepover. Phil, is that safe to keep chickens in your bedroom?
I don't really know anybody that, has, sleeps with chickens in their bed. I don't know if that's a thing.
Where are the chickens pooping?
I don't know. I guess, it's the pretty chickens. So, pretty chickens don't poop like the ugly chickens or something. Yeah, I think that might be what they're guessing, Well, of course, pretty chickens don't poop. And so, I think this whole thing kind of just falls apart. Mostly because Emily, who I feel like always kind of maybe wanted to be in Taylor's crew. I don't really know what the whole dynamic was, but she wanted to, hang out with everybody and hang out with Taylor's crew, and they weren't having it.
Well, she started the whole thing, Emily, of that Emily made it cool to hang out with the chickens. Go back to episode 2. Taylor's like, we need meat. Emily's like, no, I'm locking myself up with the chickens. Now, here we are, day 39. Taylor's like, okay, chickens are invited to the slumber party. Emily, you're out.
Emily made some points. Mm-hmm. Okay, I understand why Emily would want to be at the slumber party. Yes. I get that. But for you to take away Emily's other friends, the chickens, and also exclude, you can't do both. You can have the slumber party with your bunk, but you have to leave her the chickens because those were her original homies. Yeah. So I didn't mind Emily kind of standing up for herself in that moment. You should see my notes. It's a lot of yes, Emily, yeah. And then also yes, Kelsey, and then beat her ass, Emily. So, my notes are all over the place, but I was a supporter of Emily in this moment.
Yeah. So that was Kelsey that was trying to negotiate with Emily.
Yeah. Kelsey came out. Yeah. Yeah. Kelsey came out and said, Emily, listen, we love you. We love you like a sister. However, tonight it's just going to be us, our home. You're welcome to come over at some other time, but tonight this just ain't for you. Mm-hmm. And Emily was like, girl, I'll beat your ass.
Yeah. She's like, we love you, Emily. Emily, you are the greatest, and we will hang out with you tomorrow. You just have to understand, we just don't want you at our thing tonight.
She's like, I'm trying to talk to you really quietly and really calmly right now, and you're just you're not listening. I'm trying to talk to you quietly and calmly, Emily. This should not be a big deal, while she's gradually getting louder and louder and louder. Yeah. While Emily's like, I just want to hang out with you guys and the chickens, please.
But Phil, correct me if I'm wrong. So Emily, that she had a problem. She was on the blue team, and then she got traded. Did she get traded to yellow, or she got traded to red, I thought?
No, Emily started on the red, and then she got traded to blue in episode 9.
So, but what does she have to do with Taylor and her yellow team?
I don't know.
Just has the most girls her age?
I guess so, and I guess it's just the chickens are there, so Emily kind of wants to hang out with the chickens, maybe. I don't really understand. They had no real major friendship before this. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. All right. I think she made some points. I think Emily, these are her people. She hangs out. She has her own, people, her whole little group. But then she hangs out with the girls that are her age, and she hangs out with the chickens. And everybody that's her age and all the chickens are all locked in there, and she's just not in there. So I don't blame her. But I did notice that Kelsey was the one doing the negotiation, because she's Taylor's number one henchman, right? When Taylor says, hey, this is what's going on, Kelsey's like, hey, say no more. I got it. So she had to handle the Emily situation. She almost got beat up. Yeah. But she handled it.
Luckily, Migle comes in, and Migle is able to, she's like a big sister to Emily. We have to get something, I guess, from Migle to set up her getting that $50,000 gold star in this episode.
Yeah, this is the one thing I think we see. We might have seen one other thing with Migle a few episodes ago, but this is kind of our justification for Migle getting the $50,000 gold star at the end of this thing. Wild. Which is, yeah.
Okay. All right, pioneers, gather up. All right, so this is where we get the $50,000 gold stars. Okay, there's 3 more stars to give out. All right, you have 1 hour to cook, clean, and decorate the town. And so we get this super task that the kids have to do in order for there to be 3 gold stars awarded. And this is kind of wild, I felt like, the final task for the kids. Phil, did you think this was a good final challenge?
I guess it was nice that everyone was working together and there were no more teams or whatever, but also I don't really like. What does this mean? Like they have to make a pasta dinner?
Yeah, what were the three challenges? Were they had to cook pasta, build a table, and haul garbage. Those were the three ultimate tests of their pioneer skills.
Why pasta? That's the other thing. Like they could have done something that they were eating before, like beans or and they're making there was one point where Jonathan was just like, "Pioneers, nice job with that pasta, but you can only finish if you fill up that jar with piping hot sauce."
Here you go.
Nice job with that pasta, but you can only finish if you fill that jar with piping hot sauce.
Jonathan said, stop making these kids have to hurry up with piping hot sauce. Someone is going to get burned.
This was interesting because I don't know if y'all put this together, but those kids, all these tasks were just to prepare for the parents getting here.
Yeah.
When the parents got here, they had benches to sit down at. They had the town was clean, and they had spaghetti for dinner.
Yeah.
These kids have made this disgusting spaghetti in the middle of this challenge, and guess what? The parents just happen to be served when they get there. I don't think it's a coincidence. This is disgusting.
Yep. Chappelle, this reminded me of when I was in college, and it would be like parents' weekend, and then the college would be like, all right, everybody, we have to clean up around here. It's parents' weekend. Straighten up. All right. We can't pick up all those beer bottles. This is parents' weekend.
Yeah. Where are they going to sit if you don't make the park benches for them? We have to question the integrity of the show at this point.
Phil, I was starting to worry about Jonathan during this challenge because I felt like that Jonathan was becoming a little unhinged during this final test for the children. Here's Jonathan. Really, I felt like coming down hard on these kids.
Guys, hurry! There are only 40 minutes left! Hurry!
He said that with his chest. He knew. He knew the show was getting canceled. He had to really just use everything he had left in him. Like, hurry!
Like this was an arbitrary amount of time. You picked it. Like, relax.
Look, the parents are on their way. Dinner starts at 7. These benches need to be made. Where's your mom going to sit down? Jonathan is making valid points. He's like, we are on a time crunch. We have to feed the staff. We have to clean up. We got to get out of here before the Pueblos come and kick us out.
Yeah. They had to haul the garbage off and bury it in the desert.
I'm surprised they did that in like 8 minutes. It would have been hilarious if they just did not complete it at the end. And they were just like, oh, well, all right. Everyone go home. You don't get to see your parents. That's it.
Yeah.
The show's over.
Well, I don't think there was that they didn't get to see their. I guess that was part of the party. Yeah. I was thinking that maybe they would just not give away any money then if they didn't complete the task. Yeah, they would like, I guess the final episode is over now. Go home.
Roll credits.
Forget you. Goodbye.
We can't zoom past the fact that the way they got their piping hot sauce is because Taylor's microwaves came in handy. We bashed Taylor so much, but look, her mind so powerful. She knew that these microwaves were the better decision.
Yeah.
Would they have done this challenge without the microwaves? Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, what would they have done? Would they have just made it over the stove? I have no idea. It would have been.
Well, who was testing to see if the sauce was piping hot? Like, it wasn't like the Amazing Race where like a chef came out and was like, thumbs down. Not hot enough.
Would have been hilarious to watch Jonathan have to taste test it, put his finger in the sauce. Like,
not piping. It's hot.
Yeah. For the people who didn't watch this, that sauce was made, you know how like in those old shows, they would show people how they made they would squash the grapes with their feet. Like this is a big old big swimming pool full of tomatoes, and they got like lawn tools, and they're just smashing at it everywhere. Like, we're gonna feed this to your parents soon, so you might as well put your foot in it.
DK got hurt again also somehow.
Oh, man.
It's a Tuesday.
His tendons. Something.
Yeah.
Always something with DK.
Yeah. Is he like a soccer player, Phil? Is he like flopping just to get out of doing the work?
Yeah, he knows. Of course, though, he saved it right for the end. Like, he just didn't want to get up and walk to the finish. Like, come on, man. Just do a quick jog. Like, it's not going to kill you. I guess it might have.
Is it a coincidence that he could barely even run to where he was falling down and his tendons are so sore and he's having such a hard time. But when the parents showed up, he gets the speed of the Flash and he just darts out in front of all the kids just trying to get to his mom and dad. DK, I thought your Achilles was torn or something. Why are you running so quickly?
He's back.
He's like Grandpa Joe or something like that. He just gets up and starts dancing all like, where'd this come from? What's going on? This came out of nowhere, man. What's going on?
DK Bucket, that's his name.
So, all right, kids, the big surprise is we have a special guest that you haven't seen in 39 days. And so the parents are here, reunite with your parents, and parents were getting a tour of Bonanza City. And Chappelle, there were some wild moments with the parents.
Oh, yeah. First off, DK's parents' face, they did not look impressed at all.
Yes, especially when DK brought his parents to come check out his bedroom and look at this.
This is chicken feet from the chickens we chopped up.
Yeah, he has chicken feet on the floor from the chickens we chopped up. Why
is that in your room, man?
Why is it in your room? I feel like at this point, like, this is my kids. It's like, can I talk to somebody? What is it? Is it animal parts in the room with it are sleeping? What is this? You said this was camp.
You know, like the kids who do like warfare and, you know, every time like in Africa, you know, like when kids like would kill somebody, you know, when kids are in war and they'll have like a bone and they'll put it, you know, like have just a necklace full of bones. And that's kind of what it feels like DK is going through right now. Some kind of just traumatizing experience happened. And now he's just collecting chicken bones and, you know, trying to save them. Their parents were definitely psyched out. Like their parents had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. Phil, Jared's dad does a bonanza bomb.
That was Jared's dad? I was wondering whose dad that was.
It was Jared serving the bonanza bomb.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Like, what were these kids? And he was handling that like a pro too. That's the thing. I was like, wow, man, Jared must be in good hands if his dad could handle a bonanza bomb like that. Like, wow.
You've been away from your kids for 30 days and then they show you like, look what I learned. And they're like, hey, let's do shots. And they're like licking the back of their hand with salt and stuff like that and drinking and chugging Dr. Peppers and root beers. Like I would have asked, when you got to the bar area anyway, if I was a parent, I'd raise my hand. Hold on. Did they need a saloon? Did we have to do this part? I get it as an Old West, but the fact that my 9-year-old is now a bartender, I just think we should probably take a look at some of the curriculum that we agreed to and maybe discuss some things.
Phil, whose mom had to go to the bathroom?
Oh, I'm not sure. Do you remember
it's
Chappelle?
One of Taylor's friends.
Yeah, it was like Layla. Layla's like, her mom's in there. She's like, she's such a city slicker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a Fed line, Chappelle?
Yeah, because she says she's a city slicker and then like looks at the camera and then winks and then like meanwhile her mom is like, can we just finish this bit so I can get out of this? Party?
Also, could we turn the camera off while I'm in the bathroom?
That's a humbling experience. You know, she looked around and thought like, okay, at some point I'm going to sneak off and use the restroom. Hey, Layla, where's the restroom?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Mom, let me show you. And then she's like walking her into the distance. She's like, no, but where's the real, like, where do production go? Like, I don't want to use it. No, Mom, it'll be fun. No, seriously, can you tell me where the teacher's lounge is? I just, whew.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to have one last meal together at Kid Nation. Eat the disgusting spaghetti with the piping hot sauce.
Is that how spaghetti's made? I guess I had no idea how spaghetti was made before. If it was done through those like cannon machines where they pump it out and it oozes out like Play-Doh. Like,
yeah.
It seems like that like toy stuff used. Like, is that real? Was that really? It wasn't. It was not the spaghetti, but it was weird.
Who are you trying to convince? Us or you?
Yeah.
You're like, dear God, they could not have done this to these people.
So you're saying that's not how they really make spaghetti, or that what they ate was not really what the kids made?
I'd like to assume that what they ate was not really what the kids made. I'm praying to God that that's true.
I can see them bringing in catering for the parents. The same thing going back to like the college weekend when the parents come and visit, like the catering hall does it up like extra nice of like, oh boy, we don't have this on a normal Tuesday.
Yeah. They got to really show it up for the parents. Give them the A1 stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So last town meeting, I thought this was a funny moment on the way into the last town hall meeting. Jonathan says this.
Grab a seat, Zach's dad.
He said that with intensity and passion.
You got to come at Zach's family like that, though. If you've met Zach, you can't just tiptoe around things. You got to say it with your whole chest. Like, hey, Zach's dad, chill. Sit down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking now, that's what Jeff Probst should start doing on Survivor. Just starts calling people's parents and relatives as,
Zach's dad.
Here, Davey's
Tell me,
mom.
What's it like to be Zach's dad?
You don't need to learn their names.
He's a good kid. He's a little high strung.
I like Zach's dad, though. Zach looks just like his dad. You could definitely see, like, so with some of the kids, you could really tell, like, okay, this is kind of who they're going to end up being. Like, you're going to look like this person. You're going to look like that person. Yeah, it was great.
All right.
Yeah.
Who should get the gold stars, the final gold stars? And they throw out a lot of names, Chappelle.
Yeah. Start naming people we haven't heard from all season.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, we've got Jermaine Diem. Like, oh, okay, who was that? Yeah, like, which squad was she on? Yeah, like I just thought it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they throw out a lot of names. I feel like I was totally blindsided by the people that got the gold stars after some of the names they were talking about, Phil.
Yeah, again, because I think that is one of the biggest problems, I guess, with the show is that the gold star really relies on, most of the time, like, who did the most work. And that's something that doesn't really translate on TV. So, like, of course, all the big characters we're seeing, like, they're entertaining us instead of actually, like, doing the work. So, like, Mallory was, like, not on the show at all. But, of course, now, Mallory is the hardest worker. And that's what everyone in, like, postseason has said. Like, Mallory was one of the people that worked the hardest. But we just never actually saw that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Star number 1 goes to Sophia. Boom.
Yeah.
70K for Sophia on Kid Nation?
Love to see it. Like,
yeah.
Like, so she's the most winningest Kid Nation kid, I think.
She earned it.
She did. She did. You have to know that you have to package this for someone like Sophia and say, hey, it's 40 days. You will throw you a couple grand. Just hang out with the kids, man. Babysit them. Make sure no one dies. You got it. And Sophia did a good job.
Yeah.
No one died to my knowledge. I haven't listened to, read any of the AMAs, but I'm sure we would know by now if some kid came up missing. So, kudos to Sophia. She earned her money.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Phil, then we have 2 that are real out of left field.
They got to end on a blind side.
We got
That's how we
here.
like it.
Greg announces the second gold star goes to Morgan? Morgan, who, well, I mean, have we seen Morgan 3 times the entire series?
Yeah, we only saw Morgan again when she won the gold star for some random reason that we kind of did not see.
She do the church service.
She gave the town religion.
She gave the town religion.
She
helped with the garbage the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a reset of her knowing what to do with the garbage this time.
Yeah, they said that she won because she was a great friend to Greg, which I think is also something that kind of like they dropped the ball on, right? Like it was like we never actually saw her and Greg becoming friends, right? Or are you guys saying interesting? Yeah.
So we did get to see Morgan's dad stand up and thanking everybody for this great honor, and Greg is like, no sir, thank you for bringing Morgan here. And Morgan's dad is like, I've never met a young man who is as articulate as this is the best conversation I've ever had in my life.
Wait till he sees the show.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been looking for like connections with adults like this. I just have not had one as strong as I'm feeling towards you, Greg. Like, wow, like this is the same guy we're talking about, right? This is Greg, right?
Yeah. If you think that's impressive, wait till you meet Alex.
Yes.
This 9-year-old kid with one tooth walks up to you and explains to you, you know, the Homestead Act. And you're like, okay, Greg, I thought you were impressive, but this Alex kid, this is where it's at.
Greg could turn it on the charm. Okay, and then the final gold star. I'm like, all right, they're saving the best for last. Here we go.
This gave me anxiety. This gave me real anxiety. I was like DK. I was stressed.
Yeah.
I know if my mom, listen, I have a very specific parentage, and my mom would have been sitting there, and as the first 2 stars went by, she would have looked over to me and said, "Where's your star? What have these kids been doing that you haven't been doing?" And I said, "Excuse me? Like, yeah, why haven't you wanted to go and star?" To that point, I would be shaking. Like, please, dear God, just give me the stars. I just want to get off my back. So yeah, this buildup was not okay. Like, Chappelle was at home feeling for these kids, but I also was pretty sure that it was going to be, you know, the original gangster Laurel to take away the big prize. But
it wasn't. It was Migle. Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
It's the perfect note to end what a cluster F of a season of the only season of Kid Nation we've had. And, you know, the fact that Migle won the final gold star, and that's kind of it after that. Like, the show kind of ends after Migle wins the gold star. That's the note we end on. It's of course, the perfect way to end the show, in my opinion.
So, Mike's mom stands up and said, "Hi, everybody. I'm Mike's mom. And I just want to say I'm so proud of everybody."
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike's mom.
This is what I would assume would come from Mike's mom, right? From what we know about Mike, Mike is very much like, look at the good job we're doing, you guys, while he's not pulling he's not pulling his own weight. So I can see this coming from Mike's mom. The Migle thing, though, we can't just zoom past it, you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all know this. I was up at 4 a.m. watching this show just because I was wide awake. And I was shocked that Migle stole this one from some of the kids that we actually know. We have nothing to go off of. And honestly, that's what Phil said. This is exactly how you end the show. Because when Migle gets the big award, you're like, okay, there's no season 2. Like, this is that alternate reality where people are like, what if Kelly Wigglesworth won the first season of Survivor? Would it be as strategic? No, it got canceled. So this is the same. This is what happens when Richard Hatch does not win the first season of Survivor.
Phil, could you improve on the final act of Kid Nation? What should it have been?
You know, this is actually something that I've been trying to think about. Just like, if we were to make another season,
for 13 years.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I've just been mulling this over and over in my head. I've just been taking notes, all the time. No, because that's the thing, is that the gold star always goes to work ethic, but I feel like that's, again, something that doesn't translate. And so I wonder if it was like, we could kind of award someone who made, again, maybe this is just my Survivor brain, but just like someone who had the most political power, or someone who, had the most friends. Maybe they should do a vote. Maybe it should be like Survivor, where they don't vote people out like Survivor, but they still award some kind of winner or something like that based off of who you're friends with. I don't know, because I feel like this is it just sucks the air out of the whole thing, in my opinion, just to watch someone we don't really care about win at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the town council awarding the stars, I think, was a misfire.
Yeah.
Well, it just kind of defaulted to the oldest boys in the town. Like, that's it. The town council ended up being the oldest 4 boys in the town. And we've identified that they're not the best leaders. They just are the oldest 4 boys. And so they got to do with it what older 4 boys would do. And that's give it to whoever they want, including Migle, who they may or may not have had a crush on. So,
yeah.
What happens?
Did anybody end up with Migle, Phil? Are her and Greg married now?
I'm on the Kid Nation wiki trying to look up the showmances, and actually, no, I don't know who Migle ended up with.
Okay.
It could have been Blaine. Could have been, because apparently Michael said in his AMA that the 3 other guys really wanted to give it to Migle, and Michael was like, "No, I want to give it to Pharaoh." Again, Pharaoh's someone we have not seen on the show at all. but apparently Pharaoh was really killing it. So he wanted to give it to Pharaoh, and the other guys were like, no, we got to give it to me, Glenn.
In fairness, I do think that Pharaoh was like, his storyline was like, boy, I really need this money. I really, like, there's one thing, I need to come home with some money.
Yeah, I wonder if Pharaoh's mom would be like your mom, Chappelle, and be so mad at him. Like, you walked away with nothing?
Yeah.
You brought us nothing home?
I could guarantee you that Pharaoh and Markel's parents were looking at them like, so what have y'all been doing this whole time? Because my mama would have been like, I'm sorry, they're giving out $20,000 and you couldn't cook? Oh, yeah, you be back out there next summer, whether you liked it or not, whether there was a show or not, you be back out there. Like, do it again until I feel like you worth the gold star since you don't know how to act on television. So, yeah, I am praying for him. I don't know what happened to Pharaoh, but I hope that that things worked out.
Yeah, on the Wikipedia, they do have some updates on some people. Pharaoh, there's no update. They said that he came close to winning the gold star in episode 7, but lost to Nathan of all kids.
Nathan.
Yeah,
Nathan. And I quickly looked up Migle, and it says that she owns an engraving company called Divinity Design.
She used that money.
Yeah, she used the money.
She flipped
They
it.
set her up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We got some questions from the listeners of the podcast about this last run of episodes. Let's see. Why don't we start with people want to know, Cindy Bolin says, looking back at the whole season, what gold stars did you agree with or not agree with? I'll give them to you real quick, okay? In terms of like knowing how the season ultimately played out, should they have gotten one of the gold stars? Okay. First gold star, Sophia, no problems.
Yeah, great.
No problem.
Michael gets one, deserved.
Yep.
Mallory gets the third one. It was
Queen.
sus. Yeah.
Queen.
Yeah.
Look,
Olivia did some work on that one, I think. I think Olivia really, put some oil or put some grease in the wheels or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan got one. She's going to go on to win $70K on the quietest $70K in Kid Nation history for Morgan.
Walked away with it.
Yeah. Greg got one.
We're going to contest that one, right? Come on. Like,
That
you're
one's
going to
under
college, Greg?
investigation. DK got one.
Yeah, I agree. Come on, Chappelle.
I can't. I can't. I mean, don't get me wrong. We don't have like a lot of other viable options where I could be like, no, Geranium was robbed. Like, I don't know where these other kids are. So I have to say DK is fine, but make no mistake, he wasn't that impressive. He just talks a good game.
Yeah. Nathan got one. That one wasn't great. That one wasn't
Should
great.
have been Pharaoh's. Should have been Pharaoh's, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know who it should have been, but not him.
Kennedy got one? Who the hell was Kennedy?
She was doing the weird dance to keep her friend.
That one. Take that one away. Give her a talent show prize. Give somebody else the gold star.
Yeah, again, she was one of the people that popped up once and then we never saw them
Never
again.
saw her again.
That should have been
Blaine
Mike's.
got one.
Mike should have got that one.
Yeah. Blaine got one. I think that was some cronyism from being Greg's buddy. Laurel got one. No problem there.
Great.
Hunter got one. That one was another one that was out of nowhere.
Well, Hunter's walking around telling everybody his dad's unemployed. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
My dad's unemployed, right?
Yeah. Alex got one. We're fine with that. And then we talked about the final three.
Yeah, so I think most of them were deserved. There was a few hiccups along the way, but I actually think the town council, whoever it ended up being at the time, they did a good job for the most part.
Okay. Isaac Berman says, I have been appreciating Rob's West Wing references lately. Does Rob think the Kid Nation theme song sounds eerily similar to the West Wing theme song? Interesting. I had not thought that. I'll go back and listen to it, but no, I did not see that, Isaac. Might be hard to unhear it now, but I don't think so. The Wild West Wing.
You did West Wing references during this podcast? I've never seen the show, so maybe you were.
No, I don't think I made any West Wing references during this podcast, but I've watched season 1 of the West Wing, and I've been alluding to it a little bit. I've been falling because now I've been watching a month worth of Survivor. It's been a little bit hard to get in my West Wing episodes. Let's see. Rosie wants to, do you think that the producers sent the council away so the rest of the town would have a few days of peace and quiet before they went home?
No, I don't really think that's why they did it. I mean, I think they just did it to try to see if Sophia could like just destroy the town, but that didn't actually end up happening, right?
Mhm.
I don't think they actually wanted peace and quiet. I think Sophia wanted, they wanted Sophia to destroy the town for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It just worked out that the loudest, most ridiculous people were all the older boys. And so they got rid of them. And that's what led us to like, this place of quiet,
Mm-hmm. Jeremy Barton wants to know, what was your favorite iteration of the town council?
The first one.
Yeah, the OG.
Oh, gee.
They nailed it.
Second one was all right. I mean, I don't like Guylan, but come on, we got some heavy hitters in there. We still got Laurel. We got Zach.
Mhm.
Actually, no, never mind. I'm going for the first one's better. Come on.
Yeah. That was the best version of it, the first version.
Angry
Okay.
Mike is the best.
Phil, is there anything else interesting that has happened with the Kid Nation cast that you've been holding out and haven't told us about from the Kid Nation updates of these last 13 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of these kids, like this, just speaking generally, most of these kids have actually gone on to actually just do some pretty amazing stuff. I think I already mentioned like where some of these kids ended up, like with Alex and Anjay, but it's pretty remarkable, which is great. I don't know if I have actually anything in particular that I've been holding out, but I just wanted to say that, this has been a phenomenal time. I've had so much fun podcasting about this, and I hope that everyone has enjoyed this podcast, because Kid Nation is just a show that I've held to my heart very dearly, and it's just a show that, introduced me to the world of reality TV. And so I hope everybody enjoyed this podcast. I just wanted to let everyone know that, just first and foremost, not first and foremost, but yeah.
Well, yeah, Phil, I'm not ready to let it go yet. But yeah, this was a great ride to go through here. And I can't believe that we've reached the final mark of our Kid Nation rewatch. I looked on Cameo to see if anybody from Kid Nation is there.
Okay.
The closest I got was Kid from Kid and Play.
How much?
Guess.
40.
A little bit higher.
I'm gonna-
65.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's light work.
Yeah.
I could get in the street and start dancing like Sophia, and I might get some change.
Yeah.
Might make that move.
I'm a little disappointed that nobody from Kid Nation has responded to us on social media or reached out. Chappelle, do you think they're just over it?
Probably. I wonder if this defined their childhood, right? Because wouldn't you hate that where you did Kid Nation? Let's say you were on, let's say you're Pharaoh, where you got, so screen time. You don't win a gold star. And then you go back to school the next day and you're the Kid Nation kid. And then that just follows you. And whenever someone says, give me 2 truths and a lie, like I was once on a CBS reality show, or like, tell me a fun fact about you. I was on Kid Nation. Or at some point, they might be sick of it. Also, with the internet being how it is now, people have probably been reaching out to them for AMAs and stuff like that. They're probably over it. And then finally, we just going to spend a lot of time talking trash about these little kids. And maybe they just don't want to come on here and have to defend their 9-year-old self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's all love, though. I think, that's, I think, one of the best parts about talking about the show now, especially versus like talking about it when it was on, is that all these kids are old. So, it's okay if we talk crap about them because, they were kids and now they're adults and now they realize, we all do stupid stuff when we're kids, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was much worse. Much worse. I want to be very clear. I've talked a lot of trash about these kids, but I was much worse than them. You could not have left 9-year-old Chappelle out there doing anything. Who's the kid who quit first? Jimmy? I'd have to go home with Jimmy. They'd have been like, Chappelle, just follow Jimmy out the door. Like, why? I'm fine here. Like, no, you just go.
Yeah.
Just go.
Rob, who did you hit up?
Who did I hit up?
Yeah. You said you've been trying to reach out to these people. Who
I didn't hit anybody up. I was
thought you
hoping
said
that somebody would reach out, but I haven't been like sliding into any DMs.
I could do it.
Yeah.
Put me and Chappelle on the task.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, if somebody wants to talk Kid Nation with us, that would be great. I just thought that maybe, I was hoping that maybe one of them would sort of be like, oh, I was on this show. I've sort of followed Survivor all these years. I was excited that when I heard Rob as a podcast was going to talk about them, but no such luck.
Yeah. It's our spinoff show. Me and Phil going talking with Kid Nation. If you stay a little longer.
If they did a reboot of Kid Nation and had one of the kids coming back to host the show, Chappelle, who would be the ideal host of the Kid Nation reboot?
Michael, 100% Michael.
Oh, Michael.
That kid is TV. He is good TV. He's good TV. There's no way you don't let Michael just take the reins on this. I also think he went to like school for theater or something. So this might be right up his alley. But yeah, first name off the top of my head has got to be Michael, because in those moments where he was in charge, he was electric on television. Once they took the council spot from him, he really didn't have that much to say. But when he was in charge, oh yeah, couldn't keep my eyes off him. He's a good kid.
Mike, or wait, you're talking about Mike or Michael?
Mike.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Mike. Okay.
Yeah, because
I'm sorry, is his name Michael?
Yeah. I think you're talking about Michael, who became the leader of the green team.
Oh God, no, not Michael. He's so boring.
Yeah.
You were talking about him being electric TV. I was like, really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the creepy kid with the hat.
Yes.
Yeah, OG. Mike ended up going to school, I think, for theater or something. I don't know. So yeah, I think he'd be all right.
What about Taylor, Phil?
Taylor, that's the thing with Taylor, is that I don't know if Taylor would make a great host of the show. They just would need to figure out a way to bring her back in some way. I wouldn't care if she was the Johnny Bananas of Kid Nation. You know what I mean?
Bring her back. You know who it is? I think we're overthinking it. I think it should be Sophia. Sophia was already when she was out there, she was like, none of you kids are working hard enough. She should be the host. Now we see her. She was 30 when she was 14. Now I want to see her when she's 45, when she's 30. And now she's you kids, you haven't earned anything in this town.
Yeah, I want to see her
She messing with people.
Yeah, she'd do the social experiment stuff still. She'd still go into camp and just try to mess with these kids just because she's the host. Why not? Yeah. I'd love to see Sophia or DK. DK would be my pick. Personally, just
yeah, he's bossy enough, but I think Sophia's probably the right choice. We paid her $70,000.
Yeah.
It's the least she could do. Come on, man. No, Sophia, you have to do this for free. We've given you enough money here at Kid Nation. We'll see you for 4 weeks.
Okay, Chappelle, any other thoughts on Kid Nation? Did it teach you anything about our society? I feel like that we talked about this. Is Kid Nation a mirror for our own world, and have we learned anything from Kid Nation?
No, I didn't learn anything from Kid Nation. I don't know if this was able to teach me anything about society. Maybe that's why the show didn't get renewed for another season, because the premise is first of all, the goal was let's see if kids can build a better world than the adults. But you also gave kids almost nothing to work with. No, very little experience, social skills. They're still children. These are still 9-year-olds. So you gave them a steep task to complete anyway. And I'm not quite sure if they did what you thought they were going to do or what they could possibly have accomplished from this. So Kid Nation for me was a fun watch. It's very fun to watch kids say and do the things that I cannot say and do. And so that's all I took from it. I didn't take anything super deep, but I don't think the show was ever going to give you that.
Yeah, Chappelle, I totally agree in the idea that this whole concept of the show is these kids need to build a society. They need to build a better world, like you're saying. But they still kind of give the kids the exact tools. They don't kind of let the kids kind of do it their own way, freestyle it. They kind of say, okay, these are the classes, these are the jobs. And so I wonder, it probably would have been too utopia if they went the other way, where, they kind of just let that whole thing run amok, which was a disaster. I don't know what kind of structure they should have had, but it would have been more fascinating if these kids actually tried to build their own thing on their own, because it just kind of feels like these kids were following the rules of whatever the show wanted them to do, Yeah,
no, I agree. And maybe if they sub Jonathan out for Sophia, right? Let's just say, for instance, it was a child doing the role of Jonathan. So now the kids are respecting Jonathan because he's an adult. So they'll stop and listen to him whenever. But let's see what happens when Sophia's up there hey, you guys, you got to pick between the pony. And they're like, shut up, Sophia. You're so bossy. And Nathan's shaking his fist at her in the distance. So you're right. I don't think they give you enough to prove their thesis. Their hypothesis or whatever. And so for me, no, I don't take that much from it. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. I guess I didn't learn that much about our world. A lot of times, we've seen adults act like children, and we've seen children act like children. So I guess that immaturity in our government is still commonplace. I guess we have that to look at.
Yeah. I think that's also just a big thing I was thinking about. Again, like I think I said this before, but it was just crazy watching the show and seeing how kids are just like little versions of their parents. They kind of just walk and talk and say whatever their parents or just people around them say. We all just absorb information. So I guess it was fascinating to look at that, just to kind of see these kids try to act like they knew what was going on, even though they had no idea what was going on. But besides that, yeah, I mean, I think the whole thesis statement of the show, like, barely works. Just barely.
Okay. All right. Well, this was so much fun to go through, Phil. The 5 episodes of Kid Nation. We did it all in a month. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I just want to thank you, Rob, for letting me talk about this show that was just extremely formative for me, and I know it's formative for a lot of people. And again, Kid Nation has kind of been a show that's been, really growing again, just because of social media, because of YouTube and all this stuff. And so it's just amazing that we all have this opportunity to just be able to talk about it together.
Phil, is there anything else that is a show that was super formative for you besides Kid Nation?
Oh, man. I used to watch when I was a kid. There was this reality TV show it was on some kids channel, but it was just about like kids like redesigning their bedrooms. I don't remember what it was called, but that was a big formative show for me, even though I don't remember what it was called. I don't know. This was like the one reality TV show that I actually watched and informed me that, this is a pretty cool genre. Like these are actually like real kids and real people, it's fascinating.
So what did you go on to from Kid Nation? Did you go right into Big Brother or Survivor from there?
No. See, when I started watching Kid Nation, that was like the one show. My parents didn't really let me watch Big Brother because, there's all this weird stuff going on in the feeds. Not that my parents were feedsters, but so I kind of just went away from the reality TV stuff just as a whole. And I didn't even come back to it until, I was a little bit older and I kind of fell in love with the strategy stuff. But for me, I think the drama of reality was something that really, really, I guess, like, entertained me when I was a kid. And I think that's something that still entertains us to this day.
Yeah. All right. Well, Phil, this was so fun to get the podcast with you all month long. And I can't wait to figure out the next thing that we're going to do.
Listen, I'll talk about literally any reality show. That's the thing about me is that, like, if you put like a show in front of me, I'll be able to just talk trash about it for an hour. So, whatever you end up doing, Rob, or whatever show you want to talk about, listen, hit me up. I'm not doing nothing.
Okay. Phil is on Twitter. He's Listen Up Phillip.
Listen Up Phillip on Twitter. Again, you can follow me on Letterboxd I'm going to say this one last time. You can follow me at letterboxd.com/PNTJR, where I'm just like writing movie reviews because I got nothing else going on.
Yeah. Any good movies you've watched this week?
Yeah, I just watched this movie on Amazon called One Night in Miami. I don't know if any of you guys heard of it. It's just like
I've heard.
Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali and Sam Cooke and Jim Brown just kind of having a conversation in a hotel room. It's fascinating, and I highly recommend everyone watch it.
Okay. Chappelle, do you go on Letterboxd?
No, but I will since Phil told me to.
Yeah. Okay. And put in all your reviews. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta support my boy.
We got to have Chappelle here for the final round of Kid Nation. What a treat. Chappelle, are you on any other podcasts coming up?
Yes.
Or recently?
I am going to be. Yeah, I know, right. Yes, I am going to be on the Wrestling RHAP Up.
Oh.
The Wrestling RHAP Up with Mari and Matt Scott. And they're going to teach me about what has happened in wrestling since I stopped watching it 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot to cover, but I am very excited to talk to them. I also was on the Shit 90s Shows Taught Me podcast with Jess Sterling and Sarah Ferguson. We talked about Boy Meets World season finale of season 1, and I had a great time. That podcast is already released, but Mari and Matt and I will be recording with Grace for that RHAP Up this weekend.
Okay.
I had no idea you were a wrestling fan, Chappelle.
20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago. No, I was like one of those, like, I was knee deep in wrestling. I was in it. Okay. I could tell you where these people were from, where they were really from, and all the other stuff. And then somewhere, I don't know where I lost track. I think it's because they started changing the names of everything. Like I went back in my day, you had the WWF and the WCW, now the WWE, and all these other people start coming in. Like, they lost me. So I like talking about wrestling because I remember that was such a big part of my childhood. But I have no clue who any of these people are right now. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, I'm sure certain people are still wrestling. I would not be shocked to find out Hulk Hogan is still out here doing his thing. But I think it'd be fun to talk to them about it and see what has changed since I've been away.
Yeah, I've been listening to the wrestling wrap up. Ric Flair is, they still talk about Ric Flair.
Woo! He's still out here. I'm not shocked.
Of course, we've got a lot going on Rob Has a Podcast. I told you at the top of the show, next week, Josh Wigler and I are going to set sail watching Pirate Master in the month of February. We will watch the first 3 episodes of Pirate Master to fit all of Pirate Master in the month of February. I believe that we're going to track down the links that I think that the episodes are on YouTube and on Daily Motion. So we will look up Pirate Master for next week. And if you missed it, we've been still counting down the hits. We talked about Survivor One World, the 37th best season of Survivor. And I thought Survivor One World was a lot of fun to go back and rewatch. Maybe it was just based on what the other Survivor seasons I had watched earlier this month. But we talked about Survivor One World with Amon Adwin and Serena Foster on Wednesday night. I had a panel discussion about that. And so if you missed it, check it out at robhasawebsite.com. Of course, thank you so much for listening to the RHAP Rewind. You can subscribe to the RHAP Rewind feed at robhasawebsite.com/RHAP Rewind. Thank you for listening. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.